Hey, what it do?
Ahoy?
Are we on?
I can't hear.
Yeah, I can't hear either. I'm going to assume we're on because
You guys are very much on.
Hey,
Nice.
look at us! Hey,
What's
I
up,
just can't
Buck?
hear in my headphones. So.
What's going on?
Hey.
What's everybody doing?
I don't know. Just hanging
How
out.
you guys doing? We are.
In a very modern, fancy building.
This place is cool.
And there's wood stumps, which means we're in Portland. It's very earthy.
You know,
I feel connected and grounded.
I made a giant wood stump mistake once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you try to have wood stump chairs?
Well, here was my idea.
Yeah.
No, my idea was so Langdon Farms.
Yeah.
Cut down a bunch of trees. And I was golfing one day, and I saw all the wood sitting over there. And at the time, I had a truck.
Ah.
I was a truck
I
guy.
remember you when
Remember that?
you were the Dodge Ram guy.
Truck guy.
Yeah, you were high T.
Yeah, I
High T, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, what a great outdoor coffee table.
Sure.
Because at the time, I was balking at outdoor furniture prices.
Outdoor furniture prices are one of those things that if you've never shopped for it, you will be sticker shocked.
I was not happy.
No.
So I asked the guys at Langdon, hey, can I have one of those? It looked just like this
That's called a round.
thing here. Yeah, a round.
It's like if you scored a goal with the Timbers.
Yeah.
You'd get
Timber
yourself,
Jim.
Timber Jim.
Yeah, but this
except
one's
it's Timber Joey, but he would get
sorry.
you.
Yeah, is Timber Jim with us? Rest in peace.
He would get you around.
Dead?
No, I think just replaced.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is much bigger.
Yes.
It's taller.
Yeah.
You can set your drink or your food on it.
Yeah.
And put chairs around it. And so they were like, yeah, you can take one. So I backed up the truck.
Did you realize how heavy it was once you started to lift?
Well, not only that, but I managed to get it in the truck, and it rattled around as I drove so much that it banged up.
You didn't think about strapping it down?
No. I just was like, I'll throw it in there. It's really heavy. It'll stay there, and I'll bring it home, and it'll be great.
It's perfect.
I tell you what, we use that thing, and of course it's uneven, right? So your drinks tip over. I was like, worst piece of furniture I ever bought for free.
You actually have to put some effort into that, and you can level it out, and you can sand it.
No. Did none of that. Just put it out back. I'm like, saved $300. Although there was probably $300 worth of dents in the back of my truck that ended up rusting out.
At the time, though, it seemed like a
good idea.
But
yes, we're at here's where we are. We're at PDXYZ. Which is at the field office in Northwest Portland. We could hit a pitching wedge over to our actual studios. It's right across the railroad tracks from our studios.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close it was. I came down and was looking for parking, and I was like, oh, I could just park at the office.
Well, yeah, you have a pass.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't quite realize where this was at.
Yeah, but it is very fancy.
Yes.
This is like one of those buildings where, and I'll tell you about PDXYZ in a second, but it's one of those big office space buildings that it seems like it's like a dime a dozen around Portland right now because nobody's renting these out for anything other than big events like this, which we'll tell you about. But this is a great office space. Yeah. Very modern, very cool.
It's called feng shui. It flows. It's the blend
moss.
It's the blend of indoor outdoor. Yeah, you're no one nowadays unless you have mossy
wall
up on the wall.
Got to have the mossy wall. Well, they call this an early South by Southwest.
Oh.
That's what they call it. Like an early stage. A lot of people think South by Southwest is just a big giant concert.
Wrong.
But it's not.
No, it's all kinds of multimedia stuff. There's art. There's business.
Yeah.
Commerce is done.
Yeah. Do you know the difference between a conference and like a seminar or
what about a convention?
See, here's the thing. You could have a seminar at a conference, but you're not going to have a conference in a seminar. Those are two entirely different things.
Yeah. That sounds right. I don't know if that is right, but it sounds right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a conference and a seminar?
Well, a seminar is you're having one person there or maybe two, and they're speaking on one specific subject, whereas a conference is more all-encompassing. In a seminar, people are going there specifically to learn. There's only one or two experts, whereas a conference, you're bringing in great minds, and it's more of a totalitarian, an umbrella of information. There's my difference.
What about a convention?
I think a convention is just a bigger conference. How about that? See, conference and convention, I think, are a little bit interchangeable.
You want to know what internet says?
Yeah, well, I would love to know what internet says.
Conferences cover a broad and diverse range of topics, while seminars have a specific and focused
I think I was dialed in.
topic or theme.
Yeah, I got you.
Conference features multiple sessions, presentations, and panel discussions like we just did.
Well, you did.
On sports. Well, yeah, you weren't allowed.
I was not allowed.
But
they don't let me near important people.
You know what was cool? So we just did this. So this is like this early stage South by Southwest thing that like there's all these movers and shakers from all around the country. Like Nico Harrison is here. He's the GM of the Mavericks. Heather Davis, the head cheese of the Timbers, is here. I was listening to a little bit of the CEO of Voodoo Donuts talk.
I think the chief marketing officer, Danny and Dusty, had on the Las Vegas Knights talking some hockey, and I was disappointed that Hockey Rop didn't get a chance to chime in. And more importantly,
they were on opposite our stage.
Well, you were busy in your panel, and did you see your poster?
Yeah, I did.
Rob's got to put like a 4-foot high.
I don't know why.
Life size. It was a thing.
But it's time for new photos at the Fan.
I will say that
that's what I think.
I think it might have been. Was it Danny and Dusty who were talking about this, or might have been Dirt and Sprague? Because I listen to all day parts. But
you are a P1.
I am a P1, and I thought it was a good. That was a good point of your poster, and a little bit dated. If you use that as a Tinder profile, and you showed up to the date, I'm not saying that anyone would be disappointed. It is clearly you showing up on the date.
But I look way different.
But at the same time, the person would be like, really?
What if I look better?
Well, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying.
Joey said I look better now.
I'm just saying.
And that's why we need updated photos, because I'm hot now.
You can't.
Right, Kurt?
It's not an
Sales
accurate.
guy Kurt is here.
It's not an accurate description of what you've got going on right now.
It's definitely not.
No.
It's just an old photo.
Yeah.
But, cut from the budget are the days of
that's long
annual
gone.
photos.
That's out.
Here at the station.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of movers and shakers. They said like over 200-plus executives from all over the country, and they come here. And what they do, these guys are buddies, Dusty's old buddies from Southern Oregon. They started this. They had one in Boston in May, and they have one here in Portland, and they incorporate sort of the whole community. So a lot of these people are out doing different things, running around at Nike or Adidas or wherever, all these Voodoo or Salt and Straw and all these movers and shakers in business in town. And it's sort of like this interactive 3-day, conference.
There you go.
Because there was one little section that had me and our boss, Jeff Austin.
It's a very important panel.
And the CMO of Odyssey International. What?
Are we international?
I just love that you have no. You're like
CMO.
They just say that the CMO
Paul
of Odyssey.
Suchman was there, and I want to tell you something about Paul Suchman.
Talk to me. I have not had the pleasure.
First of all, I'm getting the cease and desist.
Oh.
Well, he's very important.
Yeah.
But here's what he said. He said something.
That doesn't sound like you're ceasing and desisting, even though that look
That's a
clearly,
serious face.
That look clearly says stop.
So Paul was on our panel, and we were talking about sports marketing. He's the CMO.
Yeah.
Big cheese.
Yeah. That's chief marketing officer, by the way, instead of just throwing out lingo.
Well, I think people know what that is.
I'm not certain that everyone does.
So we were up there, and we were talking about sports marketing and branding to sports psychopath fans.
Sure.
You know that guy.
I know that guy.
And he pointed something out that I did not notice. Mm-hmm. There is something in the sports lexicon today that is all over internet, all over social media, and we at Odyssey International. That's the new name of it. Or that's the new name of our company.
We're rebranding.
We changed it.
Conferences like this are all about rebranding, so I like that we're
Odyssey International.
Yeah, worldwide.
We are at the forefront of it.
We are.
Yeah.
I'm always the last one to know.
Well, have you been watching the Olympics?
Uh-huh.
Did you see the shooter guy?
Oh, yeah. The shooter guy's fantastic.
Yeah.
Jan Wick.
Yeah, he's from Turkey.
Yeah. Who just walked up there, no glasses, nothing, just rolled up one-handed, squinted, and started cracking stuff off.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That guy's awesome.
So if you see his photo, he's going viral because he basically just has glasses on. He looks like a dad that just rolled up and said, hey, can I play?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And he got, I think, the silver medal.
I think he got silver. Yeah, he didn't win gold, but he
or
medaled.
On the team, in the team competition. Anyway, his picture is great. He's just pointing the gun, and his other hand is in his pocket, so casually. Did you notice anything about that photo? That pertains to us.
I have not looked particularly close at said photo, other than there's the one going side by side of the guy on the left who's taking it very, very seriously and has all the specialty gear, and then the one on the right is my man Jan Wick, who rolled in from Home Depot and decided to win an Olympic medal. But I have not seen the...
if you look at the photo, he has an Odyssey logo on his chest.
What?
Now, how much do you think that cost? Odyssey International to put that logo on.
Odyssey International's big into the Turkish shooting scene?
Hey, listen, you go viral with a photo like that?
Huh.
I think riches are coming our way. Look at it. Have you seen it yet?
I'm trying to get there right now.
Yeah. He's got an Odyssey logo above his right. He's wearing just a T-shirt, but he's sponsored. And he's got a couple of logos on there, and one of them's Odyssey. And Paul, the CMO, was like, I don't know how he got that. And he's the CMO of the look, right there.
I'll be damned.
That's Odyssey.
That does indeed look like an Odyssey logo.
Grabbed a free pole at one of our events?
No, he's got it. It's his uniform.
It's turkey.
It's got turkey on it.
It says turkey.
It's like a white T-shirt. He's got another logo above on this left side, but yeah.
Yeah. By the way, can I just say, anyone that wins an Olympic medal with one hand in your pocket,
It's
sorry.
pretty awesome.
That is phenomenal.
How many sports could you win an Olympic medal with a hand in your pocket?
I think this might be the only one. Like what? Like most things you do.
Skateboarding.
I don't think you'd win with one hand.
I think you could.
In a pocket with all the flips and turns you got to do?
I don't think it could be constant, but at times.
I don't know.
Like you could have your hand in your pocket playing basketball.
There's no pockets in basketball.
True.
Yeah. It's a bit problematic. Although it sounds like our 3-on-3 teams may indeed have pockets that they're putting their hands in because we suck. Dude, that is phenomenal.
Isn't that great?
I had no idea.
Viral marketing,
I would have
Jason.
never seen that.
Odyssey Internet can we be stopped?
No, we can't. Unless Jan Wick over there shoots us. Look at that thing. That is one of the great juxtapositions, the side-by-side photo of the super shooter and then my man Wick over here.
Isn't that great?
Well, now Odyssey Wick. Phenomenal. The Olympics are great.
I forgot to mention Neil Everett's here, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try to hunt him down.
Yeah, I put him on the list of people that we wanted to speak to. Whether that happens, we'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we are, PDXYZ. We're at a place called the Field Office in Northwest Portland, open air. You can come here and buy a ticket and listen to people speak.
Yeah.
Listen to Big Sook.
No, they won't let me speak.
Well, but you're on the radio for 3 hours.
That's true.
Or 4 hours.
You could sit in front here, but they're not letting me in. In fact, I don't even think I'm allowed in the conference because technically
we're outside.
We're outside of the conference.
It's free to listen to Big Sook talk.
Yes.
Today.
I tried when I got here. I thought we were in the conference, and I was asking about a badge. I don't have a badge. They don't.
Well, if it's any consolation, they didn't give me one.
Oh, but you had a cardboard cutout.
I did. Well, I had
a poster,
a banner.
A banner.
Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah,
hey,
we recognize
the
you.
banner guy.
Head on up.
Yeah, that didn't work for me. They just kind of shooed me over here and said, just sit there and whatever.
Do you want to know what topic took over at our panel discussion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Female sports.
Oh,
women's sports.
Well, it's kind of a big deal right now.
No.
Well,
the guy. One of the questions from a guy from Adweek actually in the audience was talking about Caitlin Clark and the effects of Caitlin Clark and how we have pivoted to all women's sports talk all the time.
All the time. Well, we have an Odyssey, Cheryl Swoops, and I forget who the other gal is. I think she's just a host. I don't think she's an ex-athlete. But they have a podcast on Odyssey and ESPN. They keep saying that it's close, that they are considering a daily women's basketball segment on ESPN.
Yeah.
So if you go back even 5 years, but certainly you go back 10 years, and God forbid you go back 20 when we started, I don't know if there's a market in sports that's grown anywhere close to where women's sports has grown. Soccer in our country certainly has grown, but man, the last handful of years, the women's sports market has absolutely exploded.
Shout out to all you ladies out there.
What's up, ladies? Hashtag girl dad. You wouldn't know about that, though.
No, I don't have any girls.
Yeah, 2. Just saying. Feeling pretty good.
Well, look, we better get to going here. We've got our poll question coming up next, and then we'll get into some hot Olympic talk and find out who the new A's are of Major League Baseball. I think we have 2 candidates.
2?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not just one.
Yeah.
Dos.
Well, I saw a stat today considering one of those that was the most mind-blowing thing I've seen.
Are you talking about the White Sox?
Yes.
Yeah.
That number is, I mean, you want to know how bad the White Sox are? Get ready for this.
So we're live from PDXYZ today. We're upstairs on the 5th floor, not down where we are.
Nah.
But upstairs on the 5th floor.
Where I'm not allowed.
Movers and shakers are indeed moving and shaking.
100%.
So we'll be right back with our poll question. It is 3:15. It's Isaac and Souk on the Fan.
A home for the Beavs and Cougs.
Poll question. The other thing I was going to tell you, I thought you would appreciate this, as you were not allowed on the 5th floor where the movers and shakers are indeed moving and shaking.
I was not allowed and still am not.
I was up there earlier listening to the CEO of Voodoo Donuts speak.
I see some. Do we actually have donuts in these boxes, or are they just?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
dig in. They have great donuts.
Yes.
And he was here speaking. Mm-hmm. And I thought that perhaps at one point he heard you on our show because somebody asked him, hey, do you have a favorite donut?
Ah.
And he said, it's just like your kids. Every one of you should admit you do have a favorite.
Yeah.
Which is one of your
that is mine.
major platforms.
Absolutely.
Is that, I love them. I love them all equally. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
And it may change.
Yes.
On a daily basis. Yeah. And he even said that.
Uh-huh.
He
Yes.
said.
The rankings are very fluid. That's the Deion Sanders thing.
That's right.
It's like the college,
right.
Top 25. There's a preseason poll. There's a midseason. Look, but by the end of the year,
right.
there could be a new champion crowned.
A kid can get hot and rise up the rankings.
I basically go off who's
title.
a bigger pain in my ass at any given moment. That's really how my kids kind of fluctuate. Honestly, the best thing that my daughter ever did to climb the rankings was move to Korea. She get me no problems now.
Yeah, that's great.
Ever since moving over there, she moved to a new conference, realignment. She's
now is she off the teat or is she?
Oh yeah, she's off the. Well, that's the thing. She's
off.
To
send her money?
No. She's off the Sucanic scholarship plan.
Yeah,
she lives in a foreign land.
Champ.
Yeah.
Never have to talk to her.
Oh, she moved to the SEC. The SEC East. She's in greener pastures now. Number 1.
That's great.
With a bullet.
So yesterday's poll question on X at 1080 The Fan, we asked you, after Reed and Mahomes, which is the next best coach-quarterback combo in the NFL? Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan won that.
Oh.
And what's interesting is that I almost didn't even put them on there.
And yet they won.
Well, I almost put I was debating that or Ryans and Stroud.
Yeah.
And I figured Shanahan Purdy because they've accomplished more.
Sure.
And they won 36%.
And yet there's still I had to as I was doing my award-winning show prep today, not being
yours
on the,
award-winning too.
Well, when I'm not on the 5th floor, someone has to prep for this. And I had to see on 3 separate 2 normal news outlets and then 1 sports-specific one, Brock Purdy had to explain away his interceptions in training camp. It's like, oh, my God, we're still trying to make Brock Purdy throwing interceptions in training camp.
Well, he had 7. I don't know if you heard.
He had 7 in 2 days.
What?
Yeah, and so we're like,
fire him.
What's wrong with Brock? Brock Purdy had to have a press conference to explain away 2 preseason practice interceptions.
Who's QB2 for you guys, Buckley?
That's a great
now
question.
that Darnold's gone,
where's Darnold?
He's in
Darnold's
Minnesota.
the starter in Minnesota.
Oh, that's
ahead of JJ McCarthy.
Is Beathard?
I don't think he's back.
QB2?
I'll find out. I don't think it's Beathard.
I think we got to bench Brock Purdy.
I've
seen enough.
He actually had to have a press conference.
You know who it is?
Who you got?
Josh Dobbs.
Oh,
is it really?
Remember him?
Aerospace engineer Josh Dobbs.
We have a Niner fan on the show, and he didn't even know that.
That's because Brock Purdy's my quarterback. And Sam Darnold used to be my second one.
Not after these practices. Literally, people were writing today, and he wants a $60 million contract, and he's throwing interceptions in practice.
You know who else they have, who I'm sure will be greatness the second he gets a chance to play?
What?
Tanner Mordecai from Wisconsin.
Have you seen?
Yeah, but the Niners, he'll probably go in. And
he'll work.
Yeah,
yes.
be great.
It'll fit.
Anyway, Shanahan Purdy got 36%.
Also, Brandon
of that
Allen.
Yeah, he's there too. McVay, Stafford, 26%. Jim Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, 19%. John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, 19%. And Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, 19%, which I thought was interesting.
And now Harbaugh's there, or not Harbaugh. I guess maybe Harbaugh's in a boot too, but Herbert is in a boot. And then maybe Harbaugh feels like he should wear like those orthopedic like Frankenstein shoes. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he moves to those. And then he can join Herbert in a boot. Herbert's got a sore tootsie.
Yeah, big news today out of Chargers camp is they threw Justin Herbert in a boot. He's got plantar fasciitis or plantar fascia in his footsie.
It's just that, he's got. So
he's going to rest for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that lingo for turf toe? Turf toe plantar fascia?
No, that's different.
No, that's
is it?
different.
You had turf toe, didn't you?
I battled turf toe.
I've battled plantar fasciitis, and it is painful.
So I've known plenty of people that have had that. I battled turf toe, and they put a steel plate in your shoe, and it sucks. And it's a similar thing in that it doesn't get better. Like, her will not feel good all year. It's just
it kind of comes and goes.
Yes, this will be something that he battles all year long. But I mean, while it sucks, this is just the life of the NFL. It's a war of attrition, and he'll rest it when he can, and he'll take some injections in it, and he'll do a bunch of treatment. But it will be something that he has to battle all year long. This is just the nature of the beast. And I have heard that it is extremely uncomfortable. Like, how long was it? One of those things for you that you battled for a long time, or was it a small?
Well, it kind of is always there.
Yeah.
It flares up, and it depends on what you're doing. Like if you go on a big long hike, or you play a bunch of golf, and you're walking,
or play quarterback in the NFL.
Oh
and plant on that.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's
up.
on his plant foot. I haven't actually heard them say, but it would make sense that that's the plant foot.
But at least with me, it was kind of right under the heel, or like middle of the foot.
Yeah.
And it's just painful. You're right. It's like you can deal with it, but it's just
it sucks. It's nagging.
Yeah. So he'll rest, and they say he should be ready for Week 1. They play the Raiders in Week 1. Today's poll question on X at 1080 The Fan. We're asking you what that could occur within the next few years is least believable. Ducks win the college football playoff.
Okay, very believable.
Beavers and Cougs find a Power 4 home.
Boy, I'll tell you what. There is granted, it's internet smoke, but there certainly is some talk there that ESPN is changing course and is rattling some cages for the Pac-2.
Seahawks make the Super Bowl, or the Blazers sell.
Ooh, and how many?
Well, I said few years.
Yeah,
things that are on our radar.
I hate to say this because I actually like
least believable.
Seattle. I think Seattle is a playoff team. I like Seattle more than most people. I think this is a really good roster. Gino, by the way, second missed practice. Uh-oh.
What happened to him?
They're not saying. He just is out there and.
Wait, who's their backup?
Seattle's backup would be still Drew Lock, right?
No. Well, and they also got Sam Howell, right? Sam
Oh,
Howell, the
yeah,
chicken
Sam
tendies
Howell.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
the
Sam
better
Howell.
quarterback.
Yeah, chicken tendies.
I've
That's
already
right.
made the declaration that
Barbecue
Sam Howell will
sauce.
be the starting quarterback by Week 6.
Yeah, Gino's missed 2 practices. I just love preseason between the Brock Purdy and now Geno Smith 2 days. I guess he's resting. He's got some ailments, so they're giving him some rest. It happens.
Good luck in retirement.
But I really like Seattle, but the least likely of those 3 things is Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the Blazers? I think Blazers selling will win this.
See, the Blazers eventually, we know, have to sell. Now, the idea was kind of like a 5 to 7 year timeline, and Paul's been gone for a little bit here. So, and now that the new media deal is completed, Jody wasn't going to sell before the new media deal. But next year, when that thing kicks in, the valuation of the Blazers is going to go up, and you're going to get your $4 billion asking price or whatever the hell you're going to throw it out there for. It's going to be an obscene amount of money. So, yeah, if you're giving me in the foreseeable future, I'm going to go the next 3 to 5 years, Portland will sell. It might be towards the end of that. So I think Seattle is a good team, but that is to me, that is a very clear winner for me. Is least likely is Seattle winning.
So power rank the other 3. Blazers selling, Oregon State, Washington State, Power 4 home, and then Ducks winning the playoff.
I would have, if you would have asked me a week ago, I would have put Oregon State, Washington State near the bottom of that. I think there's a lot of smoke to this. I think I'm putting most likely, I feel like Oregon State and Washington State in the next 2 years are going to find a landing spot in the Big 12. I do. So I'm going that most likely. I'm going I'll go Ducks win, and then I'll go Blazers sell, and then I'm going Hawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I might flip-flop Ducks Blazers on you.
Sure.
But I agree with you. I think the Beavs and Cougs are going to get some good news in the next couple of years.
Well, and now, like, when you hear some of the scuttlebutt coming out that and kind of the story that is being painted, and I'm trying to get someone actually on record to talk to me, because right now it's just internet speak. But I've talked to a handful of people that everyone's now trying to basically, when these rumors get started, everyone tries to go back and reverse engineer, right? And they're like, yeah, we're hearing something, but not enough to be like, yeah, that's any sort of definitive thing. But again, there just seems to be a lot there. And so kind of one of the working narratives now is that ESPN does not want to allow a foot in the door for the streaming companies. And the kind of the West Coast content, and that they may be going to the Big 12 and just simply saying, hey, grab these 2. We don't want Amazon or Apple, getting involved in this. We want to kind of cut it off at the knees if we can with kind of, quote, the, power of football. and it feels like there is all of a sudden there's a push. ESPN and Fox originally didn't want anything to do with Washington State and Oregon State, which is why they didn't have a home. But if ESPN is reverse course on this and they're pressuring the Big 12 now to make a move, and you go back, there was even one where Washington State's new athletic director even said, hey, just because you don't hear anything from us doesn't mean that something isn't happening, and we feel pretty confident in 2 years' time. And people have gone back and taken some of these statements from Oregon State and Washington State and kind of felt like maybe there was a quiet behind-the-scenes confidence and that this was going to happen, and now there's some of these ESPN rumors out there, and I don't know. I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe there's something to that, and that we may get an announcement over the next 12 months.
All right, vote on our poll question on X at 1080 The Fan. What that could occur within the next few years is least believable? Ducks win the college football playoff. Beavs, Cougs find a Power 4 home. The Trailblazers sell, or the Seahawks make the Super Bowl. Vote hard. I have a follow-up on this as it pertains to I was reading John Wilner today, who's the writer. I think he's out of San Jose.
San Jose Mercury News.
Is that right?
Yeah. Did a great job of covering the Pac-12 for many, many years, and now...
Yeah, he was a Pac-12 guy.
Yeah, big Pac-12 guy.
He was kind of the authority on all things Pac-12 for a really long time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Did a good job covering the Pac-12. Sometimes an eye roll.
Yes.
And this one he had today was a little eye rolly, but I thought it was pretty interesting. He was making the case for something that's a little out there, but it fits what you're talking about Oregon State and Washington State possibly being a little bit more alluring to the Big 12.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that coming up next, but we have to take a break. Let's first go to Buck with SportsCenter. Yeah, we're here in northwest Portland today. We're actually, we could seriously hit a pitching win. We're probably 130 yards from our actual studios.
Yes.
But we're on location.
Took me about 2 minutes to walk, and that was because I had to go around the railroad tracks. I wasn't willing to hop a fence. So
yeah.
my fence hopping days are over.
I agree.
Yeah, someone needs to be chasing me in order for me to hurdle a fence.
Last time I hurdled a fence, I was in Kansas City at an outdoor amphitheater sneaking into the Jimmy Buffett concert.
Wow, when was that?
Years ago.
I was going to say.
I think we might even been in college.
Yeah, that seems like a young soul patch Isaac Robb sort of thing.
So I'm thinking what happened was we probably had a few drinks.
Yeah.
We drove to I think it's the Starlight Theater, or there's an outdoor amphitheater up along the freeway.
Parrot Head style.
Yeah, and there's a big fence, and you have to trudge through some, like a goalie and some brush. And it took us 45. I think the show was almost over by the time we got in, but we did sneak in.
But you did, yeah.
Because God forbid, we pay the $70 to get in there.
Well, when you're young, $70 might as well be like $1,000.
That's why we. Yeah,
you don't have that. Come on,
let's go. Let's hop the fence. Let's do it.
It still throws me because there's a Jimmy Buffett channel, and they'll play a lot of Jimmy. Obviously, they play Jimmy Buffett concerts and interviews and stuff, and it's still weird for me. I was listening to the other day. I was flipping through, and Buffett came on and was talking about this concert they were at, and I was like, oh, Jimmy. Oh, I was like, oh yeah, that's old, and he's dead.
He's gone.
Yeah, that's weird. Skin cancer of all things.
But but that's to be.
I know
expected.
it's just weird that
not expected, but
yeah,
he was in the sun.
He was in the sun literally for 60 plus years, but it's weird of. It's like a sailor drowning. It's probably the most likely way, but it seems odd that the water would get a pirate, or that skin cancer would get Jimmy Buffett.
So we were talking about the Beavs and the Cougs landing a home.
Vancouver Ford text line says, "I won't be hurt again. I'll believe it when I see it."
Yeah, no, I get that.
But look, there's a lot of internet chatter right now, and
well, here's what Wilner said. So John Wilner writes for the San Jose Mercury News, and he has been covering the Beavs and Cougs' plight, among other things. And I think sometimes these guys, like I alluded to, they can be an eye roll because you can tell that they're a mouthpiece for someone. Mm-hmm. So it's a one-sided thing.
Yes.
But in this instance today, he wrote something that I thought was pretty interesting, radical but interesting. He was talking about how the Big 12, because Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, said at Big 12 Media Day that they need to open up different sort of windows for game. They need to think outside the box in terms of when they play and getting eyeballs on their games. Mm-hmm. And, of course, now with Arizona State, and then Utah and BYU. Utah, BYU are in the Mountain time zone. Yeah. Arizona and Arizona State, interestingly enough, are in the Pacific time zone once it's November.
Yes.
But September and October, they're also in the Mountain time zone. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't even remember.
Yeah, because
they do it.
They do the weird no time flip thing.
But he was making the case that it would behoove the Big 12, if ESPN is pushing for this, to look at Oregon State and Washington State being in the Pacific time zone, getting 2 more Pacific time zone teams in, which gives you more options for games. And he laid out 3 sort of interesting, radical game time ideas when to play when they have the West. It actually doesn't always have to be the West Coast window, but the West Coast teams would work better for one of these at least. One of them was the Sunday before Labor Day. He said, because the NFL hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
He said, drop a game or 2 in there. Everybody's on holiday. Another one was, and that doesn't have to be a West Coast team. Another one was the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Everyone's teed up, ready to watch football the next day. Everyone's, together.
Is the Egg Bowl played on that Wednesday?
No, that's usually on Thanksgiving.
Is it on Thanksgiving?
Yeah. And I actually think they've since moved that.
I think they did move that this year.
Friday. Yeah, the Friday now. So that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, the idea of kind of like the MACtion or the Mountain West. When I founding member of the Mountain West, thank you. We were kind of the ones that started Thursday Night Football for college because again, it was a way to get eyeballs. And one of the things that I was talking to someone today that is, let's say, affiliated with Washington State, and again, I can't get anyone to have any sort of confirmation, but one of the rumors out there was that one of the reasons that ESPN is attracted to the Pac-2 right now is the studio capabilities and the production. And that was always a big card for them. And
Pac-12 network?
The Pac-12 network. And the Big 12 has a streaming service but doesn't actually have a Big 12 network. And that maybe that was one of the reasons, again, that ESPN doesn't really want to get the streaming people to really get a foot in the door. And is that something that Washington State and Oregon State can use for leverage?
Well, they own that, right?
They own that.
Now that they're the only two in the league.
Yeah, the only two in the league. And could that be something that makes it more attractive and kind of ends up being a win-win? And I was talking to someone today at Washington State. I guess wasn't talking. I'd say I was messaging back and forth. And the best thing I got out of them was that Washington State has always felt that the retention of the network and the broadcast capabilities was always one of their strongest plays. And I was like, I hate that cryptic crap. And that's all I got was just like, that's important. So
makes sense because the infrastructure is already there.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of equipment and they dumped a lot of money to that.
Yes.
And it's all sitting there ready to broadcast. So that's good. And the third, real quick, there was one other one that he mentioned, which would pertain to West Coast teams. And it would help for the Big 12 if they did this to have Oregon State and Washington State. And that is, he said, put a game on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And if you play out west, that game could start at 7 o'clock. That's 10 o'clock back east.
Yeah.
Sunday night football, you'll probably overlap by about an hour.
Yeah.
But people could go from Sunday night football, or if Sunday night football is a blowout, they could turn it right over to more football.
You kind of have a Pac-12 after dark just on
which
Sunday.
I think that's the best one of the three.
It's intriguing because I'll tell you what, if Sunday night football ends up being a dud or just when it's over, I would certainly be intrigued to flip over. And
everybody's already watching football.
Everyone's already watching football, and you're in that habit. And what's the difference between playing Saturday night, Sunday night? So I'm intrigued by it. And look, I'll say this about the Big 12: whether or not any of this stuff comes to fruition, we know right now. How about this? At the very least, there are real discussions going on right now between the Big 12, ESPN about expansion. We know about the ACC, and I would be stunned if all this stuff that is getting kicked up out there is completely off target in regards to the Pac-2. Whether or not that comes to fruition over the next 2 years, I don't know. But discussions are happening. And the one thing you can say about the Big 12 that we've learned since Yormark has taken over, that is a forward-thinking, aggressive conference. And this goes right down to everything they've done, from jumping ahead of the Pac-12 to take the ESPN deal, to talking about private equity maybe coming in and injecting cash. I mean, there's some talk if they end up with this private equity thing, they could be distributing $60 or $70 million to the point where some of the ACC teams, like Florida State or Clemson, would be willing to make the jump to the Big 12. And maybe now, again, this ESPN partnership and adding two out west and adding a couple more in the ACC. I would not put anything past the Big 12 because I think they understand and always have that they are not a major power player. They are also they're an also-ran, and they are going to stay ahead of the curve, whereas it felt like a little bit like the Pac-12 and the ACC kind of got crowned up a little bit and said, well, we're just as good as anyone else. And look at what's happened to them, whereas the Big 12 is not doing that. The Big 12 says we have to stay on top of this. So I'm always intrigued by what the Big 12 is up to and what they're doing, and this is such a fast-moving landscape. There's just nothing at this point that would surprise me, and and that includes, like you said, some of those time slots. If the Big 12 came up with some creative time slots that made them more attractive to TV partners, least shocking thing of all time.
Well, they have good leadership. I mean, they were dead in the water.
Yes.
I mean, I remember as a Kansas fan being terrified.
Cooked.
Like, I was like, where are we going to go?
Yep.
I mean, hopefully basketball pulls a little weight, because other than that, it's
Yep.
But,
well, and the other one, too, is the Big 12 is going to be the first – it's going to happen, by the way, with their next TV deal. They're going to be the first one to break basketball away from football.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is going to say, look, our basketball is really valuable, and we're going to sell it on its own. And no one else has done that. Again, that is a forward-thinking conference trying to force themselves into, being relevant.
There's just so much money coming.
Yes.
There's so much more money coming.
Yep.
It's not even.
Well, and they need to, because the cost of doing business has gone up exponentially.
Yeah, exactly.
And will continue to rise with the lawsuits and, this whole house settlement thing that's being proposed to go through. Realize that none of that stuff is set in stone. I mean, the NCAA could still be getting sued 5 years from now and getting – the next time they win a court case, that will be the shocker.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I've said it before. I'll say it again. With this private equity idea, college football programs are going to have owners.
Yeah.
And in some ways, right here in our own backyard, they already do.
Yes. And by the way, it's a good thing that they do.
Yes.
You imagine that program without ownership?
Think of the advantages that they have because of that.
It's enormous.
All right, we've got some Olympic talk coming up. Apparently, the NFL Red Zone is back, but in a different form. And how will House Sukanik handle the U.S. versus Japan?
My gosh, it's going to be heated.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
And how will you handle golf? It's Matsuyama against Shoffley.
I was just going to say we're double dipping now.
I hate to say this, but guys, there's one of these that
it's Matsuyama, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Matsuyama.
Are you Japanese?
It's my guy. I hate to do it. I'm going to have to break out the Japanese hat tonight.
All right, that's coming up next. It is 3:47 on the Fan.
A home for the Beavs and
Yes, we're out of the cage, sort of. We can see our studio, but we're not in it. We're at the field office in Northwest Portland. PDXYZ is a 3-day conference with a bunch of industry titans from all over the U.S.,
including you.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
you are a titan of industry.
Always known as an industry titan.
I mean,
and by the way, I did sneak in the Asachi line.
I certainly hope so. How are we going to have a movers and shakers conference without Asachi?
Yeah, I got it in.
There you go.
We were talking about brands.
A lot of
big sports brands.
And I like that the PDX carpet is all over this place.
Yeah. Well, they do a good job here. PDXYZ.
Yeah.
So, it's possible that we have some big hot shooter guests come by our table, but we'll see. A lot of people are, as movers and shakers do. Yeah. They are currently moving and shaking. Yeah. So they're hard to pin down.
Exactly.
But we're here. There's a bunch of panel discussions. It's like big discussions about professional life.
It's like
they're all up on the 5th floor, but they shoved us down on the 1st floor.
It's like Comic-Con without the cosplay. No one's like dressing up as maybe someone is dressing up as Isaac Robb. I don't know.
So we've got a big divide in House Sukanik of Southwest Washington.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
As the BTJ, big time Japanese, your lady.
Yeah.
Loves her Japanese sports.
Well, and lets me know that in all walks of life, if it's Japanese, it's better than what we have over here.
You know, that's interesting. I think that might be true in a lot of ways. Let's say 90% of the ways that she says that, she's probably right. Don't you think?
I don't like to admit it, but there are times that it's.
I mean, come on. Yeah. One major one is toilet technology, which you've talked about for years.
Light years ahead of us.
Give me an example of one where you don't think that she's right.
I don't think she's right. Well, I push back on the cars because I'm an American car guy.
Yeah. She likes the.
Yeah. Trust me, the Japanese love Japanese cars, and you know what she bought for her last car? Guess who won that one?
Toyota.
Ford Bronco, baby. Boom.
That was you.
No, that was her. Yeah, that is technically the BTJ's car.
Well, she's not putting her money where her mouth is.
That was the first time that she bought a non-Japanese car. Although that may have just been like a. That may have been like a gimme for me. Like she just like threw me a lifeline. But yes, for the most part, when she promotes something that's Japanese and I tried, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, it's
like
really
she was
good.
really big into Japanese mayo. And I was like, what? I'm like, it's mayonnaise. Like, no.
It's way better?
It's way better. Japanese bread, way better.
Yeah.
It's really.
Do you shop at Wajimaya?
Yeah.
Yeah. That place is great.
It's fantastic.
Japanese sushi?
Not even close.
You don't even
guys. If you ever want to see like just weird
Buck's got jokes.
hardline like stance, go into a sushi place with a Japanese person and have there be a Chinese person back there like working it, and they'll spot it, and it's not.
Are they out of there?
Yeah, that stuff doesn't fly. Like no.
Giving evil eyes at each other.
I mean, just the you want to talk about scoffing at something? I give you that right there.
Well, we've got the soccer. So women's soccer Saturday.
Yes.
U.S. versus Japan.
U.S. versus Japan.
And in golf today, I don't know if you saw any of the golf.
Yes.
It was exciting. It was a lot like the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't start off well for one particular American. Oh, my man, Wyndham Clark.
Yeah,
ouch.
he's out of it.
But, I kind of got caught up, and I don't really remember much about Olympic golf when Schauffele won it last time. It was just kind of like, but I got caught up in.
It was cool.
Yeah,
the first tee was really neat.
Yes,
bunch of fans going crazy.
Yeah, it had like you said, it had a real Ryder Cup feel, and I know that not every tournament can be like that, and it's very stoic when you get to the Masters and all that stuff, and in the British Open. But God, I love when there is a raucous crowd. I love when there's juice. That's the one thing. Like Liv tried to do that, but their tournaments don't matter, and they're stupid and pointless. But I love when there's a little bit of the waste management feel or the Ryder Cup that enters a golf tournament. Dude, I was loving Olympic golf this morning.
Yeah, Hideki Matsuyama has the lead.
Yes.
And they play, if you're wondering, they play 4 rounds just like a PGA event. Yeah. So there's plenty of golf left. But
no cut
he went
either.
8 under, and Xander Schauffele is 6 under.
Yeah.
Japanese versus American.
Okay. Here's where I'm going to have to make my stand.
You got to go with.
I got to make my stand right here.
You going with Hideki?
I'm just saying, when it comes to my ladies, I like to get thorny with it. I'm all about women's soccer. And I am the proud owner of a size medium Megan Rapinoe Olympic jersey from last time, which, says XXL. It's the world's smallest XXL. Still pissed over that one.
They do that with soccer jerseys.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like an Adidas thing.
Yeah, let me just say right now, Timbers and Thorns, if you're listening, this double XL medium crap that you're putting on people, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen Americans, but this
particularly this American.
Exactly. What are we doing here?
Fat, uneducated beer.
Boom. What are you doing with these these ridiculous sizes? That being said, I am fully on board with my U.S. women. I shall not be rooting for the Japanese women. Soccer, USA.
You're fighting her.
Fighting her.
But on golf,
this will be my.
You're gonna go with Hideki?
This will be my Ford Bronco salvo, where she you got to have some give and take.
All right.
I will fully be backing my man, who to this day is responsible for my. That was my largest win in gambling history. Was Hideki Matsuyama winning
What tournament?
the Masters?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest payday that I've ever had. I love Matsuyama. I love everything about him. I love the Japanese people. The BTJs, like he's not Shohei Ohtani over there. He is a big freaking deal. I got to go with my guy.
Well, he was
Matsuyama.
He was Shohei before Shohei.
Yes.
But now Shohei.
There's nothing.
He's like
It's
president-elect.
Yes. He could run for God over there and he would win. But I think Matsuyama could run for like the Holy Ghost and I think he would win. So I'm going Matsuyama, but the U.S. women.
Okay.
So there
That's
you go.
fair.
That's
if Shoffley went, dude, how about the run that dude's on?
Yeah.
He could have won, well, I guess it was 4 years ago, but 2 golds.
2 golds, 2 majors.
2 majors?
Yeah. That's not too shabby. And he was talking about when he won the gold and how it was a different feeling. And
yeah, he wanted it.
Yeah, he wanted it. And look, I don't know what. Watching those guys today, there was some juice.
Yeah, you can tell the guys that really care and want like they're doing it for their country and they're interested.
Yes,
and the guys that aren't.
Yes,
and there are some guys that
that don't really care,
and perhaps Wyndham Clark was one of them. I don't know. We'll see. He's like 4 over.
Either that, or he's
just not playing well.
Either that, or he just had one of those days.
Yeah,
right?
he's been struggling.
Yeah.
All right, a little more Olympic talk. We've got. I was reading a story today about the NFL Red Zone. It's back, but in a different form.
Because the NFL Red Zone is one, and they're doing the Gold Zone for the Olympics. If you want,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I was reading about that today.
Yeah.
What they have going on is blown up.
The Red Zone, just in general, is a phenomenal concept. I would make the argument that 60 to 70% of NFL viewers, the majority of their football is consumed via the Red Zone.
So we'll get to that and a couple of other Olympic notes. Another gold for Simone Biles.
Yeah, that gal.
She's awesome.
She's old as dirt.
And
is
Suni
out there winning gold.
Now, see, your BTJ's got to like Suni Lee.
Yeah. Oh, believe me. Any if there is a Japanese lady competing for the United States, now we're into a different stratosphere. She loses. Like, there's a Japanese gal that plays for the Thorns. Whew. My gal just like randomly starts yelling at her at games. Like just wants to get her attention to like high five her.
So we'll get to that next. Coming up a little later are the there's 2 teams that could be the new A's of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And we'll explain. That'll be later, but we'll get more Olympic talk in coming up next. It is 3:59. We're at PDXYZ here at the field office in Northwest Portland today. It's Isaac and Suk on the Fan.
Football is back, sort of, but back the Braves. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with BetQL. Looking to
welcome. We're at PDXYZ in Northwest Portland. It's Isaac and Suk on the Fanzy. Having a good time here. We're talking a little Olympics, although I owe your BTJ an apology. Please apologize to her for me, because I said she must love Suni Lee. Suni Lee, not of Japanese descent.
Laotian. You had your Asians all mixed up.
Yeah, and is that offensive that I...
It's not to me, but I don't know.
To her.
She may stab you.
Hey, there's an Asian.
She may stab you with some chopsticks. I don't know.
Well, anyway, Suni Lee, you know, she's you know.
You're not running for president of Asia.
Yeah. I love that team. That Simone Biles is amazing, man.
She is.
She's
well, and like she's what, 27, and you don't win. You don't win these sorts of competitions. When you hit 20 years old, you're an old lady. You're an old bag in the gymnastics world. So, I mean, it's one of those things that gets said a lot, but she really is the GOAT. She's the greatest gymnast of all time. She's absolutely incredible. So she
won another gold today.
She won another gold. She won the all-around. So she won the team gold, was it yesterday or the day before? And then she won the all-around. She just continues to stack on her legacy. And you go back to all the morons from last time that were calling her out for remember she bowed out for mental health reasons. And that's always the disappointing part, is I feel like there's always people like waiting around to crap all over one of our Olympic athletes. It's like we even the Olympics, we have a hard time just getting. Can we put like crappy politics aside for 2 seconds and just support people from our country that are amazing at what they do?
I think you could strip awesome. Olympic from that, though, and just say that's how we treat our athletes. I mean, as soon as they do something bad, we like to tear them all down.
Well, and that was like the women's soccer team. The women's soccer team has been amazing. And, God, they go to the World Cup and they don't have a good showing. It's like, those dumb bitches. I'm glad they lost. I'm like, can we?
Well, they're playing well.
Well, no. The last World Cup, that they had a poor performance. And there's just the people just tearing them down left and right.
Kick the ball, you little bitch.
And just ripping them apart. And I'm like, it's like sometimes we have no national pride, and that bums me out. You should be able to put aside some petty differences. And, for something like the Olympics, and I'm not saying, or the World Cup, I'm not saying it's the end-all to be-all, but it'd be nice if we as a country could kind of rally and put that stuff aside and say, hey, for better or worse, despite your political views, these people represent us. They're the best in the world at something, and let's support them. But I feel like there's a portion of our country that wants U.S. Olympiads or World Cup athletes to fail so that you can throw it in their face and be like, ha, you lost because you don't like the way, or I don't like the way that you view the world. Therefore, I'm glad you lost, and that's the reason you lost.
Pretty pathetic, isn't it?
Yes, but Simone Biles is freaking awesome.
8 golds.
Yeah, and gymnastics, that may be
8 more than me.
That may be the most, I would say, like, I mean, look, there was like the people ask that question. Hey, if you could do one Olympic sport, guess what? You can't do any of them. It's just there's nothing. But the one that I think aesthetically may blow me away more than anything else is gymnastics, male or female. The stuff that they do,
it's pretty amazing.
I think she's got 7 different moves named after her, so she invented 7 different moves. But the stuff that they do, you know what? I can't comprehend it.
You know what one stands out to me that's really mind-blowing is watching the beam.
Yes. Yeah. And she does that thing where it's called the Biles spin. She squats down on one foot and then she spins like 3 times. The whole balancing.
Like think the width of a golf cup.
Yeah.
And then flip upside down in the air and then just land and balance on the length of that golf.
I think the beam is 4 inches in width.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
But
I'm ready for track and field, I gotta say.
The one that gets me, I think, is the bars. Whether it's the high bar for the men or the uneven bars, the stuff they do on that thing, it's like every time I just have like a pit in my stomach watching it because I feel like someone's just gonna get decapitated. Like you're doing all those twists, and I'm like, if you think about the I don't know, just the spatial awareness you have to have on that sort of stuff. And occasionally someone does miss the bar, and it's like, whoa. And someone is pointing out the mental health stuff. She had the twisties, so she would lose her equilibrium while she was flipping.
That's right.
And she was like, dude, if I miscalculate on that, I can break my neck.
A lot of a-holes out there.
So
somebody brought this up yesterday. Would you be more likely to die in water polo or rugby? Because
water polo.
I might drown in water polo. don't know how they do that.
Well, I'm a good swimmer. I'm kind of part manatee, but I could just float, but I would be the most ineffective polo player of all time.
So you could hold your own in rugby. I'd get smashed in rugby.
Rugby's pretty brutal.
But because those guys are, I mean.
Yeah, it's so physical.
Dude.
Yeah.
But I think I might drown.
Well, again, what if you just got to the point where when you get you wouldn't drown, you would just get tired and then you'd roll over on your back and float.
Oh, I guess, yeah, you could do the little.
Yeah, because they do it. You see it like when they have pauses or whatever. They don't swim. They just kind of float. They just kind of
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So you have to take a lot of breaks. They'd be like, we believe number 12 Isaac Rupp is dead. No, he's just dead man floating. He's back up.
He's doing circle 8s.
he's back up.
Paddling.
That's another sport that you don't have an appreciation. And they battle under the water
awesome.
when they have the underwater camera.
Yes.
Dude, they kick the hell out of each other.
That one's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for track and field. I don't know when track and field starts, but I'm all about it.
Yeah, I like track and field, but I'm not as wowed by track and field as I am by, some of the gymnastics and some of the other stuff. It's just track and field is just it's hard for me to appreciate how fast they're. I just know that they're very fast. It's like you're just running in a straight line. But like the high jump pole vault stuff, that's one that kind of that always wows me a little bit.
Is Coco Gauff really the only athlete left at Olympic Village?
I don't know, but some of the athletes that do have money have bolted from the village.
Yeah, they're all getting hotels.
Well, they have cardboard. That's the whole point of this Olympics is they said they were going to be sustainable. They were going to do cost effective and they were going to do sustainable. So they have cardboard beds, which isn't working for some people. There's no AC, and it's hot as balls right now over in France. But they have some sort of other cooling system that they were trying to, again, save on energy, and I guess it's not working, and so it's sweltering. They were trying to do some sort of weird sustainable food options, and they tried to make most of it vegan and vegetarian, and they've basically run out of meat, and so no one's eating the food there. So if you have money...
They should look in that French diver's pants.
Exactly.
Hey now.
That's Le Hog. And so, yeah, I guess a lot of the people that have the means are just like, dude, screw this, we're out of here.
I've never seen so much dong in my life.
But Coco Gauff's staying, apparently.
Yeah.
But
By the
probably
way,
not
people
for
are
long
saying-
because she lost both of her events.
Yeah, she lost, so she's out.
She whining about it, too.
Well,
Yep.
she was crying, but people saying track starts tomorrow, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for that one guy.
What?
Who's the one guy that, they keep showing him on the ads?
The one guy?
Yeah. Our big guy, our main guy. He's real cocky, everybody. Speaking of people trying to tear a guy down, the Jordan something or other, I don't know. He's our main sprinter guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what his name is, but he's on all the ads.
I'm a Sha'Carri Richardson man myself.
Everybody's going crazy.
I like what she's got going on. Love those sprinters.
So the NFL Red Zone. So, we'll come back and talk about this, but the NFL Red Zone for Olympics coverage is called the Gold Zone.
Yeah.
And it's on Peacock, and it is awesome.
Yes. It's
changing everything.
It is the best way, and really, honestly, it's the only way at this
Yes.
point to watch the Olympics.
Yeah, we'll get to that next. It's 4:14 on the Fan.
The home of
he's left donuts everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just had a little bit of a maple bar. I haven't had a voodoo donut in a long time.
I have not either. There's always a big line.
I'll tell you what, that maple bar,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, there is a reason Voodoo Donuts is iconic in the. Well, now they're expanding. They're not just in Portland anymore.
Well, yeah, but can I say, I think
Careful.
I know. I should be careful.
Careful.
Everybody's looking at me now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're known for their kind of quirky. You know, they were the first to kind of mix it up and throw.
There's a lot of things on the donuts.
But this here is just a plain old maple bar.
That's why I said I like when donuts get stripped back to the basics.
Tell you what, I love a good maple bar.
Yeah.
I was just reminded of that.
There's been many a night where I've left Kells in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And the allure of a late night Voodoo Donut, but bless America, sometimes that line.
He said I think he said, I was listening to him speak. He was the CEO, and I forget his name, Schwartz or something. But he said that they've only closed like twice. Ever.
Just ever.
They're open every day. They close for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's it.
The best part is if you're a man of the late night bar scene down in that area, you know that at a certain point in the evening, there's only two things open: Voodoo Donuts and that gyro guy. Like across the street, there's a dude that's got a. Like it's a food cart and he sells gyros, and I swear to God he's open till like 5 a.m.
Well, he's no dummy.
There's something magical about like everything closes, like the bars are closing, the gentleman places are closing, but you can walk outside and you can get a gyro and you can get a donut across the street from each other, and it's in those moments where you say, God bless America in this city. It's fantastic.
So they have we were talking about the Olympic Gold Zone.
Yeah.
It's like the NFL Red Zone, but it's on Peacock. Mm-hmm. And, it used to be that, you'd watch the Olympics, and first of all, you couldn't catch everything depending on your schedule.
Yeah.
And you don't know when things are on, or they're on at off hours because they're in Tokyo or Beijing.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff, you find out the results, but you actually don't. They'll rerun the stuff in prime time, so it's.
And that is stupid to me now, because with social media, I mean, everybody's talking about the events as they occur, or at least that's what's trending with social media. So I was reading today that NBC, maybe it's just Olympics or NBC Sports, got a new head cheese, and she came in and said, we are not tape delaying things anymore. That is the thing of the past.
Yes.
We have to go where people are, and people are on social media, and they're tweeting or Facebook or whatever it is that they're doing, talking about the competitions as they happen. It doesn't matter the time zones, which was a smart move on her part, because I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Beijing, where they had the whole tape delay thing.
It was stupid.
It was the dumbest thing ever.
Yes.
And it really hurt Olympic viewing. Yeah. Now they have this red zone, and they have Andrew Siciliano and Scott Hansen, the two guys who do red zone.
The best part is
they're on it.
Siciliano was I follow him on Twitter, and someone tweeted at him and was like, it's the ignorance is beautiful sometimes. Someone was like, they knew he was on Olympic coverage, and they were like, why won't they do some sort of red zone thing? The guy was bitching about the Olympic coverage, about how they needed a red zone, and then he Siciliano retweeted it and was like, good idea. See you tonight at 8, ... And it really, it's great. It is how I have consumed, outside of in the morning. There's times where, like with the rugby thing, I've tuned in specifically to that. But for the most part, I'd say 75 to 80% of my coverage has been on the Gold Zone.
Yeah, so it's like the Red Zone, which is the NFL for the Olympics. Yeah. So all of it. So those guys are in studio, and they just bounce around to the different sports. They said this in this article I was reading. It said Siciliano had to narrate 4 gold medal events at the same time.
Gosh.
He had to do skateboarding, canoe slalom.
Can't forget about that one.
Which
can I say that there's some events that no offense to anyone that canoes and slaloms, but
what is canoe slalom?
Well, it's the slalom. You're in a canoe. Think about like slalom skiing. You have to go through the gates, but you're in a canoe.
Yeah.
Is it canoe or kayak?
Well,
is it canoe?
Canoe.
I assumed it's kayak. I didn't know there was canoeing. I know there's kayaking in the Olympics. We're now in canoes.
Oh. Sorry,
sorry
for the YouTubers.
Go canoe yourself. Yeah,
you were
letting Dusty know that he's number one.
Yeah, that was not for the YouTubers. That was for Dusty.
I think we can show the finger on YouTube. I don't think that's a problem.
This one's for the YouTubers then.
Yeah,
that one's for you.
No, so he had skateboarding, canoe slalom, gymnastics, and judo all at the same time. So I was reading about this. I'm going, how the hell does he he said he does just a ton of homework on how to pronounce the names and like the rules of the sports. Yeah. But like 4 at once, that has to be way harder than the red zone.
100%.
And there was a quote, and he said it's not.
Really?
He said the red zone is harder because red zone he never gets a break. Olympics he gets a break.
Sure.
He said the red zone he goes like from the first kickoff he does not pee.
It's just nonstop.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, like a shiwi or something? What happens? You got like a bag?
I don't know, man. But it's cool. You should check it out.
The gold zone is great because no offense to canoe, slalom, or anything else, there's a lot of those competitions that I don't care about other than show me the end, right? Like
exactly.
And unless it's
explain it to me.
Explain it to me. Yes. So whoever came up with the gold zone, that is a great idea. Someone deserves a raise. It's fantastic.
Yeah, canoe. Okay. Yeah, I googled canoe slalom.
Is it kayaking?
Why is that
or is
a sport? Yes, it's basically kayaking.
But it's a canoe? Is there a separate one?
They just call it
canoe
slalom. I don't know.
I don't.
And I don't, honestly, I don't care.
Well, it is funny how, things become Olympic sports. We have breakdancing in the Olympics. We have speed walking to me is
skateboarding.
Yeah, we have skateboarding.
You know what we need bowling.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't Olympic bowling. Well, Dusty and Danny were talking to back in the day there was tug of war. That was an Olympic sport. Yeah, there's been a lot of weird sports come and go. I think baseball's coming back. I think that's coming back next Olympics. So stuff kind of comes and goes. But
is there a sport that's missing, glaringly missing?
Football. I want to see the U.S. play the world in football. I really do. I mean, no offense to
play South Sudan.
Oh, what would the score be if we got our NFL guys, or even if we just took an all-star college team, and we played? Because I played in NFL Europe, and I saw some of the guys. We were allowed, we had to have a couple international players on our teams. And I know that the game has grown; it's gotten better. But there's leagues in Germany and different places. In fact, the BTJ, her brother plays a semi-pro adult league over in Japan. I'm telling you, we may beat the Japanese 176-0.
I'd love to watch it.
It would. I'm telling you, someone would die, but you can't tell me that wouldn't get the biggest rating in Olympic U.S. history if we watched our U.S. men's football team play against just put them against the French. Let's go. You want to talk about just xenophobic, just all America, truck nuts coming out? Get that one out there.
Yeah, trucks, balls, yeah.
Yes.
What about water skiing? All the water sports, wakeboarding and all that.
We have surfing. Why wouldn't we have the others?
We need that.
Yeah.
And chess.
Chess, huh?
Yeah. Oh, chess is huge. Chess is probably the biggest thing worldwide that isn't in the Olympics.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
More of a game than a sport, though.
That's true.
Well, I think the second biggest sport in the world is cricket.
There you go.
Why isn't I think outside of soccer, I do believe that more people play cricket than anything else. So I guess I would go with that. Put cricket in it. Now that we're a cricket powerhouse,
I love cricket.
We've officially become a rugby and a cricket powerhouse. So
I bet on cricket.
I'm still trying to figure out cricket.
Well, I play golf with a guy who played cricket.
Really?
Yeah, and he explains it to me. Yeah. He was a bowler.
Did you do you not understand it still?
Oh, God, no.
Because I don't.
No.
Well, and highlight, that's another one. That's one of those rich guy sports, which I don't fully understand. But they used to play it in Miami Vice. They play on that court and they wing that ball with that big sickle paddle thing they have. I'd watch that. Let's go.
All right, coming up next hour, we're going to move on to some other sports. We've got Jed Fish audio you didn't know you needed.
I didn't know I needed Jed Fish audio.
I like Jed Fish. Can I just say that I think he's funny?
Yeah, I got nothing against Jed Fish until he leaves for the Florida job next year.
Well, yeah, he's out of there. But he is at least, we talk about coaches all the time, and I just like the authentic guys, the guys that are real.
Sure.
Jed Fish is pretty real about some of the stuff he said. And today, today he was talking about Iowa.
Oh.
We already have a Washington, Iowa preview from Jed Fish.
Talking about the punts? We're doing this?
We'll have that coming up. And which Major League Baseball team is the new A's?
Oh boy, it's a serious competition.
Or maybe the other A's, because the A's are still.
Yeah, the A's are still A-ing. let's not let him out of the closet, too soon.
So that next hour, but next we've got to move on to In the News. What do you know about the St. John's Review?
The St. John's Review?
Yeah, it's a little newspaper up in St. John's.
Very little.
Well, you're going to find out about it.
I can't wait. I was just thinking to myself, you know what I need to know more about? St. John's Review.
I think so.
Yeah.
Coming up next, it may be going away. But first, Buck with SportsCenter. are live from the PDXYZ conference, which we determined is different than a seminar.
Yes.
And a convention. By the way, I looked up convention.
Mm-hmm.
Convention is more of like you have to have a membership. Like it's more of a group that's
Like an auto dealers convention?
Yeah,
I went to the National Auto Dealers Convention once.
yeah, you sort of have to be a part of the group.
Okay,
type
I
of
can see that.
It's not like
Comic
wide
Con is a comic convention.
Yeah, but you don't have
But that
to.
wouldn't apply. Well, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what it
that is
stands
a
for.
convention, but you don't have to be a part of anything. You just have to be a giant nerd. And can we say that nerds have won? Nerd culture is now just popular culture. Like it used to be like people made fun of like comic book nerds or
Yeah.
video game nerds.
Well, it's because there's so many nerds.
Yeah, well
Don't
now
you
it's
think
just,
that's why?
well, I don't know. They're the most popular movies. Video games are like one of the most popular things going. The nerds won. The nerds run all the big tech companies. They're all the richest people in the world. And the stuff that the nerds loved has now become just, like I said, nerd culture is just popular culture now. It just
Well,
is. So
I just think that was-
congratulations, nerds.
Yeah.
Your revenge
Dorks.
is over.
By the way,
you won.
Revenge of the Nerds holds up. I was watching that
No,
the other
it
Oh
doesn't.
my god, it was so funny. I have not seen that in so long.
It's such a great movie, but in no
Oh,
way
it-
does it hold
it
up.
so does.
There's like 19 felonies that are committed in there.
Well, so what?
Including rape.
Dude, it was so funny. It was so well. Sometimes when I
Very
say hold
much
up, I
does
mean-
not hold up.
It does
Yes,
not.
it does.
It's so
no,
bad.
it
It's
might still
hilarious.
be funny, but it doesn't
It's
hold
That's
not
up.
what
funny.
I'm saying.
They-
That's what I'm saying.
they
If,
do-
if you watch a movie that you used to think was hilarious and
Yeah.
it is not funny at all,
Yeah.
that is my definition of not holding up.
Yes.
But if an old funny movie from the 80s is still funny, and Revenge of the Nerds is, that's holding up.
I love, and can I also say this? That was my first ever up tops that I ever saw.
Yeah.
Was Revenge of the Nerds. My dad was having like some friends over because my dad would bootleg illegal Commodore 64 video games, and him and his buddies would come over and they would like hack things, and they had Revenge of the Nerds on the old big screen TV, and I managed to like avoid detection and just like stood in the corner, and that was the first real R-rated movie I ever saw. So Revenge of the Nerds is near and dear to my heart, but when you go and watch that, I'm not kidding. There are serious sex crimes that are committed all throughout that movie that people are
Look,
like,
it's a different time.
it's still rape and bestiality.
Conventions are gatherings that celebrate shared interests
Okay.
and provide a platform for enthusiasts
That
to
would be-
connect and engage.
That would be Comic-Con.
Conferences focus on knowledge exchange, professional development, and industry advancement.
I've heard Comic-Con, the one in San Diego that they just had, I've heard it's like the coolest thing in the world to go to, but like tickets are, you have to be online at a certain time. Like they sell out in like 6 seconds.
Yeah, people come from all over.
Yeah, but I guess that thing is if you are at all into movies, games, just like again pop culture, I guess that one in San Diego is the bee's knees.
Nerds.
Revenge of
I just think I think it was
Miss Betty Childs.
I think it was predictable that nerds became so popular because there's just so many of them.
Yes,
It was eventually going to be
Yeah,
like
the cool
you
kids.
can no longer bully them. There's 18 billion of them.
Exactly. There's only so many cool kids. Eventually, the nerds figured out that numbers.
Yeah.
We've got numbers.
It's a numbers game.
We've got you.
All right, it is August 1st, 2024. It's time for In the News. I'm your noted and humbled newsman. Today is Respect for Parents Day.
Oh, well, you probably
To
should respect your parents.
parents.
But can I also say this? I feel this way about military. I feel it way about cops, parents, all that stuff. You should not have blind respect. If you have a piece of crap parent, don't respect them. But yes, in general, you should have respect for authority figures. But if that person is an absolute piece of garbage, you don't have to put up with their crap simply because they're your parent.
You
I've always
piece of
wondered-
garbage!
Yeah.
The idea that because someone is family, but they treat you like crap,
Yeah.
but you still reciprocate as if they're family, like that is never computed for me.
No.
And my wife and I go round and round about this. If I don't care who you are, if you suck, you're out.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're my
Well,
twin brother.
one of us went through that very recently. You know, you have to make. Sometimes you have to make those decisions.
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
No,
They're
like-
going to live family. I don't
Yeah,
care.
Exactly.
They suck. Get out of my life. Of course, I love my family.
They all suck balls.
No, they don't. They're wonderful.
Yeah, put them in jail. Yee-hoo!
It is also National Spritz Day. I love a good spritz. I'm on a spritz kick.
Are you?
Yeah.
Like an Aperol spritz?
The Aperol spritz is delightful.
Yeah.
The limoncello spritz is delightful. I mean, you can do it with,
Yeah.
there's a billion different spritzes.
Sure.
But the spritz is a great light cocktail.
It can be very refreshing.
Very refreshing and not that sweet.
But like some of those, it takes a while because you have to get the, sometimes you can be waiting 25, 30 plus minutes for them.
What do you mean? To make them?
Yeah, because
At a bar?
Yeah, because they do if you get the ones that have kind of the foamy top on it, and then it has to sit and settle. So some of those it can be a bit.
Have we hit triple digits today?
It's pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie. There's a moisture about me right now.
Hot.
A sheen, if you will.
That is hot.
Yeah.
It is 93 degrees according to my computer.
Okay.
Or my whatever this. What is this? It's an iPad.
A tablet, if you will.
Emojis.
Yeah,
93.
It was a little warm today. A little warm.
What do you know about the St. John's Review? You said nothing.
I know nothing.
Well, let's talk about it.
Please.
It's a St. John's.
Yes, I like the area.
Quaint little
St.
town.
John's is nice.
Yeah, St. John's is fun.
Yeah.
Although I think I've got some buddies that live up there that have been complaining about it recently. That well, it's kind of homeless and it's gone downhill and there's some problems and there was a shooting and there's some things.
Yeah, it's where the hard dudes are.
I rode my bike a couple weeks ago out to Kelly. Is it Kelly Point
Kelly
Park?
Point, yeah.
And I will say I rode through some interesting encampments. How about that?
The St. John's Review is a community newspaper. A community newspaper circulating throughout 13 neighborhoods in North Portland. It has published a weekly or monthly print edition for 120 years.
Get right the hell out of town.
How about that? How about that?
That has to be like a.
You like that?
Is it a free paper?
Yeah.
You like that? You like that?
Boy, I'm trying to think of what would happen because I guess I live in either whether you call it Cascade Park or Fisher's Landing. Like, if someone distributed a Fisher's Landing review.
Do you have the Fisher's Landing Chronicle?
I don't.
If there was one, would you grab one?
Well, what would they talk about? The latest old
The
person
local news.
that died?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Someone's missing cat? I don't.
That's right.
I don't think
I nailed it.
I don't think I have that many interesting things happening in my neighborhood that would necessitate an entire paper.
Well, the weirdest thing to happen in St. John's, ironically, will not be in the St. John's Review because it happened to the owner of the St. John's Review.
Oh, interesting.
So there will be no July St. John's Review.
Will there be an August?
Well, it's not looking good.
It's up in the air.
It's not looking good.
Okay.
The owner is Richard Colvin, and he is in jail in Alabama after a federal agent says he phoned an elderly female receptionist of a Methodist church in Mobile and threatened to kidnap, cage, and her.
And Revenge of the Nerds, her.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow.
He's a 60-year-old man.
Do we know why he's threatening elderly church ladies with imprisonment?
Apparently, he has a pattern of making harassing phone calls to law enforcement agencies and religious centers in Oregon as well.
Oh, so he hates Jesus.
Yeah.
But he's such an effing loser.
Huh.
For some reason, he's in Alabama.
So he calls people and threatens, but he doesn't do anything. He just likes to threaten them?
Yeah.
And cage him?
Short on details here.
Hey, remember the other day I was on Facebook Marketplace and that dude was selling the human cage?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Might have a buyer here.
We might have a buyer.
As soon as he can get out of the other human cage.
Yes, he's got to get out of his human cage and then he can. I don't know if that's still available or not, but there was a human cage available. And by the way, the guy wanted you to know on the listing that it was for role-playing only and you were not to imprison someone for real, although you could, which I thought was an interesting.
How's he going to... He can't manage that.
No, I think that
Get
was.
out of here with
I think it was more covering your ass in case this dude bought it and then did imprison an elderly church lady. Just saying.
So Anisha Scanlon is the director of the review.
Yeah.
And she says that she and this old guy are exchanging paperwork to transfer ownership to her. She will have to pay about $10,000 of bills.
She's paying $10,000 to print a paper that will continue to make no money.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what she's paying for the review, or maybe it's just, hey, you can have the review, just pay off the debt. which is 10 G's. I don't know.
Is it wrong now that I kind of want to see what's in? Is it online? Can I look up what's in the St. John's Review?
I don't know.
I kind of want to see what the top story of the St. John's Review is. I'm guessing it's not this. All right, I'm looking to see if there's an online version of the St. John's Review.
Neighborhood newspapers.
Well, there's one in.
I thought they were a thing of the past, but they're really not.
Well, you remember the great Kenny Vance?
Yeah,
I don't know if he's still doing it, but for years and years, Kenny Vance ran the Battleground.
that's right.
There's like a Battleground bulletin or something,
That's right.
and that he runs it out there. I don't know if that's still a thing, but we didn't have a La Center one, but there was a Battleground one that did indeed cover La Center news.
Out of the what the hell
I
is
see it
wrong
right-
with people
I see it
department?
right here since 1904.
We go to Fred Meyer, Southeast Hawthorne.
I shop at the Fisher's Landing, Fred Meyer, not that one.
There are reports a man had inappropriately touched a 10-year-old girl
Yeah, I saw that.
on the butt
And they got him.
and then fled. Yes, they
Right in
got
the
this
butt?
guy.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah, stop. You know.
And the guy looks pretty normal. Apparently, he's a student at PCC. He's a lab support tech there. You know, dressed businessy.
Well,
Looks fairly presentable.
apparently he's an alleged pervert.
Yeah.
Do they have and they've got him on tape doing
Yeah.
the grab, and it's not like it's a full-on grab.
Yep.
Yeah. Boy.
According to police, a father and his two daughters were shopping at the store that evening, and the two girls went off to get some caramel. Or is it caramel?
I think you're going to have to get some. Well, you're going to have to get some caramel, or you're going to have to get some caramels. That's the way I go.
Caramel. They wanted the caramel. I think the drizzle, for
Yeah,
like,
then I would say that's caramel drizzle.
caramel.
Yeah.
For dessert. Moments later, the father heard one of the girls scream and saw them running towards him. When he asked what happened, one of them said a stranger had grabbed her boot.
Wow.
Yeah. So they caught
Imagine-
this guy.
Imagine you're just walking around at Fred Meyer's and you
Totally.
just think to yourself, I'm just going to grab a 10-year-old's butt? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You can't.
No. Well, they got him.
You can't control. Yeah, he's arrested.
Yeah.
You can't control that. Like,
Especially when you know
risk
that.
reward.
Yeah, and you know that, everything is filmed. I mean, what are we doing here?
It's crazy.
By the way, one of the top stories at the St. John's Review right now
Is it online?
Oh, yeah. No bottle drops in downtown. But fine in our community? ? That's the editor's pick.
Wait. Fine. What do you mean? What?
There's no bottle drops in downtown Portland, but there is a bottle drop in St. John's, and they want to know why.
Wait a minute. There's no bottle drops in downtown Portland?
Says right here.
That can't be
Editor's pick.
right.
No bottle drops in downtown, but
Are you kidding me?
fine in our community? ?
Wow.
Yeah, Governor Tina Kotek has
Tell you
announced
what.
a temporary suspension for the downtown bottle drops at the grocery stores, but not in
I
St.
wonder
John's.
why.
Huh? There you
Well,
go.
I see you learned something from the St. John's
did.
Review.
I did learn
That's why it
something.
exists.
Right
Just
there.
stop harassing
Yes.
old ladies.
Yes. And
God.
Terminal 6 partial closure, unraveling our economy and heritage. There you go.
Terminal. What?
Oh.
I didn't hear. What?
Terminal 6 partial closure.
It closed.
Yeah. And it's unraveling our economy and our heritage. Didn't you know?
Which Portland
Maybe
bar?
you should be reading some St. John's Review.
Which Portland bar is among USA Today's top 27 in the United States?
Let me say this for the record. I love the Portland bar scene, and I'm a frequent
Yeah.
to many of those bars.
Do you think you can guess it?
No, because I guarantee this bar I hate.
I've been to it.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like your vibe.
No. If you told me that there is a bar in Portland that is a top, what did you say, 20?
27,
Guaranteed
not 28.
that I will never go to that bar, and that if I did go to that bar, I would think that that bar sucks.
Well, I have been to it as well, and I will say they have very good cocktails.
Yeah.
But we will get to that next on In the News. It is 4:47 on The Fan.
This is the Fan's window into sport.
is in the news for AUG1. August
Hey!
2024.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was August today, and then I went to the dentist, and I was informed it was August 1st.
So August.
Blew me away.
It is crazy that it's already August.
Yes.
Because it feels like we just started the dog days of summer, but we didn't.
No, here we are. Although we got football, man. Hall of Fame game.
Oh,
Football's
yeah.
here for like the next 26 weeks. We've got football.
A football game I will not watch for 1,000 Alex.
You'll watch some.
The Hall of Fame game.
You'll watch
I was
some.
too busy
will
grinding my absolute face off.
I'm going to go grind my face off.
With our secret Bajent man, you'll watch some. I guarantee
will not.
you flip over.
I will not.
It'll get you.
I refuse.
It'll get you.
Which Portland bar is among USA Today's top 27 in the United States? Go.
One that I won't go to. Speaking of things you won't do for $1,000,
It's
go
not
go
your,
to this bar.
It's not your vibe, I can tell you
No,
that.
I guarantee this bar sucks.
It is
What
a nice
what's it
vibe.
called?
I liked it.
No, it's
Of course it is. Did you bring your Labradoodle buck?
I did not, but that would, peaceful, like the Labradoodle, yeah.
Look, why do you do this? Just because this is maybe not your vibe doesn't mean it's not good.
I'm calling it right now.
The bar that is in the top 27
Yeah.
in the USA Today top 27 bars in the United States rankings
Wrong.
is Hey Love.
Of course.
Have you been there?
No, but of course it's called Hey Love.
God, you're an ass. It's actually a pretty good bar. It's got really good cocktails. It's right in the it's in the Jupiter Hotel down there, but there's a bunch of stuff southeastern or
Sure.
southeast there.
Yeah.
And it's the one with all the plants.
Ah, you gotta have plants.
Yeah, you're nothing without plants.
Nothing
It's a
without
vibe.
plants, no.
At least at Hey Love. It is a vibe. They play good music.
Okay.
It's a cool bar.
All right.
But anyway, it says, this is the write-up on it. It says, in a city of perpetual rain, Hey Love is Portland's sunny escape.
Ah.
Fenced in by tropical plants, creating a cabana-like ambiance, the bar inside the Jupiter Hotel encapsulates the city's eclectic spirit.
Again.
A funky, fresh playlist enlivens the space.
All you need to know is that there's a funky, fresh playlist.
The
I'm good.
team of owners brings decades of experience in the industry and has crafted an experience that all can enjoy, including an ADA-accommodating bar top. There are food options for most dietary restrictions for happy hour, dinner, and weekend brunch, plus an almost unending list of alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks.
Okay. I am looking at it. I will say at least it's not like super expensive. I thought it'd be one of those just really obnoxiously expensive where
It's not that bougie.
it's like $24 for a cocktail.
It's a really chill spot.
Yeah, it's a good place to go to if you want to get your night started. Like, let's say you're going out to a dinner or you're going out to a show. Go to Hey Love ahead of time.
It's by con, kind of, right? You could do it
Get a
before
table.
con.
Yeah, it's down there by all that stuff.
Nah, I'm okay.
And then it says
I don't need a funky, fresh playlist and plants in my bar.
And then it says the bar continuously participates in fundraisers and causes, making it the community's bar. So there you go. And they have hot bartenders.
Okay, well, there you go. I'll take your word for it, and I'm glad it's a top 27 bar. And
Yeah,
I
you
love,
don't need to poop on it.
I'm not-
It's
hey.
a great bar.
Sure. It's just not my bar. I hung out
You don't
with
even know that.
I
That's
hung
the
out
thing.
with some biker felons at Kelly's last night. I did meet Brad from Riff Raff Choppers, and we talked about his 7.5-year stint in prison. That was the bar. And
Kelly's Olympian.
yes, and their vending machine had old Playboys and one chicken strip in it, which I
Nice.
found fascinating.
Sounds like a night.
Yeah, and there was also in the vending machine, there was an adult fun pack, which I didn't know what it was, but then for $3 more, there was a deluxe adult fun pack. And I don't know what's in that fun pack,
That's for the French diver.
but it was intriguing.
I'll go out on a limb and say that we need more chicken strip vending machines.
Here's the thing, though. I don't
You would not.
know.
How much was it?
I think it was like, well, the adult fun pack was like $14. I think the chicken strip was like $4. But I'm telling you, it was just one chicken strip.
No
like
dip sauce?
No, just a chicken strip.
And it probably
in
wasn't
a-
hot in there either, was it?
No, it
Yeah,
was just
that's
in a,
weird.
it was in a vending machine. It threw me for a loop. I didn't know what was I didn't know what was happening.
All right, we'll get you caught up on the Olympics coming up next. That is in the news for August 1st, 2024. We also have some baseball, and the richest offensive line contract in NFL history
Oh, yeah, dude.
was handed out today.
Dude's getting paid.
Justin Herbert news. Justin Herbert news. All of that we will put in the Hot 5 at 5 coming up next on The Fan.
Hey, it's Sook. And guys, for those of you with a full head of hair,
a nice, juicy little Thursday. It is Rop and Souk. Isachi launching my luxury brand here at PDXYZ.
Believe me, there's a buzz
There is.
amongst the conference crowd here about the Isachi line. I mean, you had your own panel today, for God's sakes.
That's right.
With a poster.
That's right.
Can we update your headshot, though?
Yeah, well, I think we all need updated headshots.
Yeah.
If you had a poster, I think you would probably be horrified as to what picture they would put on there.
Ah!
But, yeah, this is we're over here at the field office, which is in Northwest Portland. It's right across the train tracks from our studio.
Sure.
It's,
Not that you know where that's at, but trust us.
It's what
right
they
by
call the early stage South by Southwest. It's a conference, but kind of a cool, laid-back vibe with drinks.
You can tell that it's laid back because there's tree rounds for seats and moss on the wall. It's one of those.
Yes.
And, of course, now if you have, like, a cool building, you can't have a ceiling. Everything, all the ductwork and everything has to be exposed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's the key to everything.
It's industrial.
Yes.
It's creative.
Creates feng shui and positive vibes for you to think about, like, moving and shaking entrepreneurial type moves.
This is a cool space, but it's like all these other spaces in downtown Portland or in these areas that don't have any tenants.
No.
So they move in here for 3 days. It's a conference. It it kind of brings in a bunch of movers and shakers from around the country, industry titans. Neil Everett is here. Nico Harrison, who is the general manager of the Mavericks, he's here. Heather Davis, Timber CEO, the Voodoo Donuts guy. Chris Schulz, he spoke earlier. Big Souk is here. We had a panel earlier today on sports fans and branding. It was very exciting.
I was not allowed to come to it, but I heard great things about it.
Well, what ended up becoming the main topic at the end was women's sports.
Yeah,
and Caitlin Clark.
Well, Caitlin Clark certainly is the kind of catalyst right now for the big push. But
Caitlin Clark is white.
We've been doing this for 20 years, and I will say that if you had to look back over the 20 years and say what has grown in sports more than anything else, certainly soccer has. I mean, because the NFL was always huge. I don't know if you can make the argument that the NBA since Jordan really grew. I mean, sports in general have grown, but I don't think the NBA has grown leaps and bounds of popularity. It's been popular. Major League Baseball, no. So I would say soccer certainly made a push, but I think women's sports, if I had to pick one thing over the 20 years we've been doing this that has seen the most growth, because the women's sports at one point was beyond irrelevant, and it's just not anymore. It's having a moment, and it's been a slow climb, but everything from the women's soccer team all those years ago with the Brandi Chastain to Serena Williams certainly pushed that along. I mean, let's be honest, for the last 15 plus years, really 20, the WNBA was viewed as a joke. And by the way, still loses money, but it's got a new TV deal. They have legitimate stars now. I mean, they're expanding. I mean, and women's gymnastics in the Olympics is probably the most popular Olympic sport. So I mean, it's like I said, they're having their moment.
And yeah, we talked about what helps them a lot. A lot of women in sports are doing a great job at this, and men too. But female athletes, social media. Like
girl, you something else.
If you think about this rugby, who's this rugby player, Maher or whatever, the U.S.
Mar, yeah,
Mar, the rugby player,
Alona Mar.
She basically told her story on social media. It's not a story that would have been told by the traditional media. So she told it on her. She gained followers and was fun on social media, TikTok and that. And she told her story there. And now she's a sensation because of the Olympics. And I just think more and more female athletes are doing a good job of getting their stories out there with social media that is helping push this along too. But Caitlin Clark, I mean, I use the Andy Dufresne sort of analogy where for years a lot of women, including Sabrina Ionescu, that's why it came up.
Yeah.
Have been chipping away every day at that hole in the wall to try to escape, right? To try to bust out. Yeah. It wasn't just Caitlin. It wasn't nothing and then Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
It was years of women in sports. You mentioned the Williams and you can go on down the line that led to the Caitlin Clark moment. And then every once in a while you get a transcendent person and talent like Caitlin Clark, and all of a sudden you're through the wall and you're escaped.
Yep.
And the cat's out of the bag. And that's kind of where we're at. And you're right. I mean, the only thing that would be comparable to women's sports growth over the time you and I have been doing this is probably, like you said, U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's close to women's sports.
No, I mean it's just and it's it'll be interesting to see where it goes. There were a lot of people that always said, it's going to take time and it's going to take investment, and I don't know if you'll ever get to the point where we're on par or anywhere close to it. And by the way, I don't think you have to in order to I don't know, appreciate or I don't know, give women's sports its due. But it will be interesting to see where this goes. Are they having, like you said, the breakthrough moment and the climb keeps happening, or is there a leveling off? I don't know. But like what you're seeing over these last handful of years and some of the stars that are being created, it's an exciting time for women's sports, and people are investing in it. You're seeing more and more people that are dumping money into it, and you're seeing franchise values go up, and you're seeing a lot of big mover and shakers that are dumping money into it.
Okay, I do think we're going to have a special guest here in a moment.
Okay.
At PDXYZ. As we mentioned, movers and shakers.
Yes.
And we will ask this man if he is a mover or a shaker. Perhaps he's both.
Possibly both.
I don't know.
I neither move or shake. I'm more of a stationary land animal. Think like the manatee of the land. But, this is indeed mover and shaking time.
All right, so we are moving and shaking here. So we're going to go ahead and put him on now. Because, we don't like to make important men wait.
No.
And we will do the Hot 5 at 5 in our next seggy. Jakey Babes, where are we putting this gentleman? Okay. All right.
He gets the he gets the stump.
He gets to sit on the.
Well, that's classy right there.
Is there a microphone or what do we? Okay.
This is a Swiss watch here.
Let me do some producing, sir. I'll be right with you.
This is
We're
fantastic.
not live or anything.
No, not at all.
All right.
You would think that possibly we had something, set up that we would know this was coming, but we do not.
Let's plug this in.
This is how amazing that Asachi is. You're in there leading conferences.
That's right.
You're building brands and you're setting up
Testing.
Mic check. Sibilance.
I think it works. We'll give those to you, sir. Thank you. We have a very special guest on the program. As we mentioned, movers and shakers.
Yes.
This is former Duck and former NFL star Alex Molden.
Yes.
From PDXYZ. What is up?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Can you hear us okay in that headset there?
I cannot hear you.
Oh, you can't? Okay, here, how about a little bit of that? How about a little bit of that?
No.
Okay, can you hear us talking since we're so close to you?
I can hear you talking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then we'll just go with that.
We'll just do
that's
that.
Cool. That's cool.
Sorry about that. Now, you, so 1994 Pac-10 title.
Yep.
1995 Rose Bowl, right?
Yep. That's right.
That was kind of the start. I mean, I wouldn't say the start because the program had been along. That was the start of the rise of Oregon football.
I would say so. I would think so.
Because I was coming out of high school in '96.
Oh man!
And I remember, I remember the recruitment and all that. And I always talk about that. Like Oregon was that program that people were starting to talk about. The indoor facility was the only one of its kind on the West Coast. You were starting to see the foundation of Oregon starting to do things differently than the rest of the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it starts with the type of players that you get, right? We start to get better athletes. And, where before they would just get athletes from the West Coast, from California, from Washington, from Oregon. But I think, with their rise and it started to be on TV more, you start to get more cats like myself from the Midwest, from Colorado, from Texas, to start to look at the Oregon Ducks and say, man, I can see myself playing there. And then along with the facilities, right, because, back in the day, they just opened up the Casanova Center, which was the biggest the biggest weight room in the Pac-10. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's where I'm going to live. They got a new weight room. I'm all in.
People don't realize, again, we're kind of in that same era, just a few years older than me. People don't understand how bad some of the facilities, even at places like Washington, that if you saw by today's standards what was commonplace at USC, at UW, certainly at Oregon State, Washington State, they were dreadful. When I ended up at BYU, embarrassing. And Oregon was the first of its kind on the West Coast that spent money on that, and it sounds like that was one of the things that attracted you.
Absolutely. It was an investment that they made.
Yeah.
And before I got there, their strength and conditioning facility was underneath the stadium.
Yeah.
And so it was like in a little closet, dark room, you know, it just wasn't.
And look at it now.
Washington State's had some weird two-prong one where it was like you literally climbed a ladder to get to the second floor.
Is that right?
It was in Bowler Gym, and it was so small that there was like you could take like a ladder up to the second floor because not everything fit on one floor.
Wow.
And that was there all through the 90s.
Oh, that's crazy.
Could you have envisioned what Oregon has become now? Now they're in the Big Ten.
They're the Big Ten.
It's so weird.
It's very weird.
Are you now Big Ten legend?
You know what? I would like that. That's pretty dope.
Well, Katie Ledecky, the U.S. swimmer.
Yes.
The ACC put up a thing on like the ACC network or whatever, like promoting her as one of their own. And I think she went to Stanford.
That's right.
But
I'm with
Stanford's now in the ACC. So Katie Ledecky is now ACC great. So you
so
are
you
technically
telling
Big
me
Ten
I'm going to be a legend in the Pac-10 and the Big Ten?
And the Big
Yes. You are Big Ten legend.
Let's go. I like you guys.
So what are you're a motivational speaker now?
Inspirational speaker. I speak on leadership. I don't put it like this. Like once I learned exactly what leadership is, which is influence, right? And you influence people by a number of different things, right? Your relationships, the way that you speak, right? Your character, your ability, your success, also your failures, right? So there's 10 different influencers that I speak on, and I speak from something that I know a lot about. That's my life, right? And so playing in college, playing in the NFL, doing something that only 3% of NFL players do, play 8 years or more, and I've seen these different things of influence. And so I took that, and then I started to look at my own life outside of football and start to see, like, how do I influence my children, right? Me and my wife, we have 8 kids. One of them is in the NFL.
Titans, right?
Right, yeah, that's right. And so it's like, okay, how do we influence if it's foundational, right? Meaning I can talk about leadership on the football field, in the corporate, corporate boardroom. I can talk to it at Starbucks or wherever. Then that's foundational. And so that's what I teach other leaders because it's not something that's taught, right? Because when you're in the corporate world, you're there for a number of years and then you just move up this corporate ladder and you have more responsibilities of leading others, but they're not really taught how to lead.
100%.
They come, different styles of leadership, but not exactly what leadership is.
Yeah, this is Alex Molden. It's interesting. Were you always a leader? Did you get that in football? Were you that in football, or is this something you've cultivated after football?
It's something I cultivated afterwards. I would say to a certain point, right, because in sports, what happens is the kid who has the most ability or who's the fastest, they're the leader. They're the captain, right? But what if that kid who has all this ability, what if he's a jerk to other teammates or his opponent? What if he doesn't talk? Right, I was that guy. Like I wasn't the big talker. Like most guys in the locker room, who the leaders are just by how they talk. I wasn't like that, and until like my junior year at Oregon, where I started to like understand. Okay, now because of my success, there's more eyes looking at me and how I go about my business. Man, there's more people looking at me and following me because they want what I have. That's success. So then I started to kind of learn a little bit about leadership, starting my junior year at Oregon. And then I started to really look at it a little bit deeper when I finished playing or in the NFL, but then even more when I finished playing. And I was like, man, there's a lot of folks that really don't know what this leadership is. They put styles on it and say that I'm this type of style, right? And it's like that still misses the point. You got to understand exactly what it is because you got to be intentional with it, right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. We don't tell enough, particularly young people, we don't tell them that they're leaders, right? If you just – because you could a young person or a team member or my son, whatever, could exhibit leadership qualities, but they don't know that they're a leader. They don't know that people are looking at them differently than they're watching the other kids or whatever. We have to do a better job of telling people, hey, you're a leader.
Yeah.
And then once you know that, then that's when it becomes intentional. It's like, oh, I am, and I realize that, and now I can learn different ways to do it better.
Yeah, and then it's all about so now, because I know what helped me have success playing football was I practiced, right? And you practice something intentionally, because you can tell it, man, you need to be a better leader. But what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Well, this is where it shows up, and so I use my phone, I use the internet to show my kids, especially my one, the one who's going to be a sophomore in high school. He's a great athlete, but I show him different things from Twitter or X. So is that leadership? Tell me more about that. Because this one guy, he says something in a fit of anger to a media folks, and then the next day he's apologizing. Why is that? Did he make a decision based off of emotions? Because intuition is the most powerful influencer when it comes to leading. And so you got to be aware of these things.
Yeah, I've never thought about that once. And all the time that you put in becoming an athlete.
Yeah.
I've never once thought about learning to be a leader. I get every team that I was on just always had someone. There's, in a room
probably
full,
the best athlete.
Yeah, and in a room full, it's funny. You walk into a locker room, whether it's college, the NFL, and you're a room full of men, and usually alpha men.
Yep.
There's still one or two that are different, and it's funny. People just know.
Yeah.
And you are so right, and that they're not always the best people. But there's naturally, and I don't know exactly. Sometimes it is just simply just being the best player or the quarterback. But yeah, it's I've never given any thought about how do you become a better version of that, because I've just have always been around. I don't know. That's the guy.
That's the guy.
And the way he set, you see it. He sets the tone in the locker room. He sets the tone on the field. And you're right. It's not always the best tone.
Ain't always the best tone. And that's how you can change a culture.
Yeah.
Change it to be negative or positive. Yeah. And there's two different types of leadership, right? There's positional leadership, which, a quarterback. That's a position of leadership. A linebacker, the point guard, or maybe the CEO at a company, right? They're in a position of leadership, but that's not that's not the best. That's just a position. My dad, he's my dad. He's in a position of leadership, but we didn't have the greatest relationship. I was scared to death of him. You know what I'm saying? He's a drill sergeant. And so when I started to look at relationships, all the people who was in leadership positions, the ones that I really looked up to, what type of relationship did they have with me and others around me? Man, they got to know us. They got to know what we was good at. They gave feedback in a positive way. They made us feel, accepted. They made us feel valuable. So it's not just position, right? It's not just about the position, but it's about the relationship.
Who were the guys that you learned that from?
Man, best coach I ever had, his name is Willie Shaw, David Shaw's father.
Oh, okay.
Used to coach the Stanford Cardinal, right?
One of my favorite people we've ever covered.
David Shaw's a great
David
guy.
Shaw was amazing.
David Shaw, right?
Yeah.
So his dad was one of the persons who really started to lean on me and push me. He only coached me for 1 year, and he gave me such valuable information that was foundational, meaning once I stopped playing football, I still use those same things that he coached us on to help me become a better father, become a better husband, become a better leader, and wherever I went. So I learned different things from him. That's number one. Another great leader was Junior Seau, because the thing that we coach on is, we practice, right? Practice is intentional. Practice is the most important thing you can do to help you become better at whatever,
at
right?
Anything.
And so how he practiced, the thing about him, along with Jerry Rice, because I got a chance to work with him in the off season, my rookie year, for 6 months straight. But the difference between him, Junior Seau, and Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, is you didn't know if it was March and we at this, we have a spring practice, right, mini camp, or if it was we making a push in the playoffs, the practice looked exactly the same. There was no like let down because we're playing this team that's not good, or we're in preseason, we're not going serious. It's just tone it down. No, those guys, it was intense from here to here. It looked exactly the same, and so I started to learn more about like how important practicing who you want to be. I learned it from those guys, and I said, man, if that's foundational, I can take that in any environment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's brings us back to PDXYZ.
That's right.
You're talking to hundreds of people up there, and it's a great message to disseminate. I wonder and by the way, this is Alex Molden, former Duck, NFL. I wonder how you tailor that. You said you have kids, but the new generation,
yeah,
they think differently. They're different. They have a different world than when you and I grew up.
Yeah.
So how do you tailor your leadership message to them and what they think and how they feel?
Yeah, I think with them, they are influenced differently than we were back in the day. Looking at them and what really moves them and pushes them is this. My phone is in my pocket, but it's that. They spend a lot of time on the phone, and it's not really face to face. So they're not really too much concerned about relationships right now. And you want to be, I much rather be intentional with creating relationships now when I don't need them. Right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a time, and it happens to athletes all the time, right? They have these opportunities to create these relationships. These relationships are handed to them, or they're available to them, where, you and I, they won't pick up the phone. But these collegiate and pro athletes, man, they can make a phone call. They can have the CEO or the president of this, whatever. They'll pick up the phone just to create, just to talk. And so, but when they're done, right, when they're done playing, that window closes. Not too many people are going to pick, in those high places, are going to pick up the phone.
Right.
So it's like teaching them, like, man, hey, you got to know who you are. That's number one. You got to know your own character, which is a huge influencer, who you are, and then understand relationships. And it's better to start them early when you don't need them, where you just get to know people, man, how they function, how they work, what made them have success. You know what I'm saying? Like, get to know them on that level, man. Then they're more likely to keep that relationship when you might need them down the road.
How much further ahead is Elijah than you were at this point? Like, wait, is he 2 years into the NFL now?
This is fourth.
This is fourth?
Yeah.
Gosh, 4 years. God, it goes by fast.
It does.
How much further ahead was he as kind of, I don't know, just savvier all this stuff versus you? Because you guys kind of went the same path, although, UW.
I know.
That hurt just a bit?
A little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it all depends what you're talking about. Like, on a personal, like, how he makes decisions is so much better than me.
I was going to say, it sounds like, the wisdom that you're able to give him, having gone through college, NFL, all these lessons you've learned, you were able to pass down to him at a much younger age when you kind of had to figure this out on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like, when he started to show an interest in football, so I knew that was the carrot. Yeah. But I never it was never about chasing the dream of playing in the NFL. It was more like, how can I use this thing that he has with his athleticism, the want to, the drive, how can I first use this to help him become a better person? So I started to challenge him, and when he did things that didn't align with how me and my wife parent, I would check him on it right away. And I would threaten to take football away from him or any other sport, because he was a good athlete, period. So I started to use that as a tool to really get what I want. I want him to be a well-adjusted young man when he stops playing sports.
Right.
I want him to be able to overcome setbacks and failure, right? And that's not really taught. So I would use these different things that happen in sports. You get beat for a touchdown. You lose a game. Your girlfriend dumps you. You skin up your knee. And I would just watch him and, let him use the things that we've taught him to make his, to go about the decision and live with it. And then I would give like, hey, so why'd you make that decision? What did you see?
Yeah, after the fact.
Yeah. What did you see?
Yeah.
How you think that could you have done that a little bit better? I don't know. So for me, it's not about him, doing this thing, because what he does is not who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I got trapped in that. I thought I was going to be a football player forever. And when it stopped, I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what type of impact I had. I didn't know what I liked. I liked playing golf, and I liked my love, my family. Other than that, that was it.
Yeah.
And the structure's all gone.
Yes.
You spent 20 years of your life having everything laid out. And I know a lot of guys that when they get done playing, that's one of the hardest things is, what do? I wake up and I don't have anywhere to go. You have no more purpose.
Yeah.
Because your whole life, everyone has said you are a football player. You even get introduced. I remember growing up, it was a weird thing to me, but I realized one day that no matter who introduces me, parents, and I know they're doing it out of love, but it was always, this is Jason, this is my son, he's a football player.
Yeah.
And it's weird when that's all you've been introduced as your whole life, and then you realize one day that's not your identity anymore, and it's tough.
Well, here's the thing, because it's a platform, right? A platform is what you do. So, for many times, and it'll happen tomorrow when I go and speak. It's gonna happen. Hey, former NFL player, and it's like, it's okay, cool, long as I get to use it how I want to.
Right.
That's not, but you can introduce me like that if it elevates me.
Yeah.
And it gets me like, oh, people looking at me differently in a positive way. Then but it can't just be like.
It can't define you.
Yes, it can't define you.
Well, what if they say Big Ten legend Alex Molden?
They can use that. Like Big Ten, as long as it and Pac-10.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, it was a great lesson on leadership there. Great talk.
Yeah.
And where are you living now?
I'm in West Lynn.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm around, man. I'm around playing a little golf, coaching clients, and
good deal.
Doing my speaking.
Yeah.
Wrote a book.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
What's it called?
Yeah.
Give that a little plug.
Oh, I love it. Well, it's called the Ultimate Playbook for High Achievement.
Okay.
And so it talks about leadership, and it's for not just athletes. It's for all people who really want to understand, like, what is leadership? How do you use it? How do you practice it? And there's a little Q&A, Q&A section after each chapter. I want to give insights.
Yeah, very cool. Well, it's a great message.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Keep spreading it. Alex Molden, I have to call you former Duck, NFL.
That's cool. You can do that.
And Big Ten legend joining us. Thank you very much.
Father to a Washington Husky.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to take that dig. I remember when he committed, I was like, ooh.
He did. I was like,
that hurts. I was like, that's got to hurt a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Did you push him at all to Oregon? Towards Oregon?
Man, I was trying to. Honestly, not everybody know this, but the dude is like, he was 4.0 student. I want him to go to Stanford.
Yeah.
I want him to go to Stanford. Oregon, I knew at the time it wasn't the right fit for him and what he wanted. It comes down to culture. Washington had the culture with Coach Peterson. I know him. I know what type of man he is.
Great.
So it was the right fit at the time.
Who was the Oregon coach at that time then? That would have been
Helfrich.
Oh,
and
Helfrich.
I was like, I told him, I said, look, if you choose Oregon, that's great.
You're not gonna be here.
Don't choose it from that coach because he ain't gonna be here.
But now Oregon would get him no problem because they just dropped that bag on the
Let's
table
go.
with the NIL. They're not losing to Washington.
Other things, they got facilities. They're winning. They got, that coach ain't going nowhere. Hope, fingers crossed. Right?
That's true. They got a good thing going.
Yeah, they do got a good thing on. Yeah.
All right. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
Great talking to you guys, too. I appreciate it.
The legend Alex Molden. We're back with the Hot 5 at 5 next on The Fan.
It's The Fan on demand.
All right, we're back. We've lost Sasachi. We're out here at the PDXYZ, and we've gone extremely long. Buck, how far off the clock are we exactly?
A full segment.
A full segment?
A full break.
Okay.
So now we need to fit 3 segments into the last half hour here, which we're already 4 minutes behind on.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do then. Since, the other day we said we were going to set a record for the Hot 5 at 5 at like
this is the new record.
This is the new record at 5:34. So as we try to make our way back, and here comes Asachi, why don't we
go ahead and start it?
Why don't we he's sitting down now.
Hello.
Do we want to squeeze in the Hot 5 at 5 now, or do we want to get to a break and then try to come back and get back on the clock?
Look, I hate to throw away a segment, but we do it all the time.
We do it all the
let's
time.
do it again.
Yeah, Molden was great, by the way.
He was fantastic.
Really, really enjoyed that conversation, which is why we weren't really long. So why don't we take a break now?
Yes.
And when we come back, we'll do the Hot 5 at 5:40.
Yes.
And then we'll try to get back on some semblance of a clock. How about that?
You don't even need me. I'm going to go to the bathroom again.
All right. We'll be back live from PDXYZ.
Buck.
I think, Buck, we got a Sports Center, right?
That's correct. We do.
There we go. Here we go. Buck with Sports Center.
Hit it, big fella. right, we're back in PDXYZ, where we've been thrown off schedule because Alex Molden sat down. It was a cool conversation.
Yeah.
So
it got me thinking. There was some stuff in there. I was kind of like, oh.
Well, yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, I really think, like I told him, I don't think we tell young people enough that they're leaders when they exhibit leadership qualities.
Yeah.
I think we have to tell them, hey, you're a leader, and here's what that means, and here's what you do that other people are seeing that you may not know, and then that will lead them down the path of exploring things like Alex's book or Alex's speech to understand better how they can harness it.
I mean, I thought about it because, he had said, obviously, like a lot of times if you're the best player on the team, you naturally end up being a leader. And for a lot of my life, I was the best player on the team, but you've been around me long enough. I am not a great leader. I don't want to be a leader. I don't do great necessarily in leadership type of things. And so I think it was something that I struggled with a lot of my life is, when you're good at things and you kind of naturally end up in that thing, but no one ever taught me how to be a leader, and naturally it's not my thing. I tend to kind of do my own.
You never know.
Yeah, and
you never know. You might be.
It just wasn't something that I ever had.
Well, that's like Alex.
Yeah,
he didn't know.
No, I kind of wish, you looking back on it, you kind of wish that you had a, I don't know, a different viewpoint growing up as opposed to what I did.
Well, you need mentors. I mean, you're too young to kind of figure it out.
Yes.
But that's why guys like Alex are great. I think that's a great message.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. If you're just tuning in, guess what?
Hey,
it's the latest ever.
This
will
record.
Never be topped.
541.
It is time for the Hot 5 at 541.
Oh. Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victorricos.com. Number 5.
Well, I am contractually obligated to report to you the Olympic golf scores.
You have to do it.
Contractually obligated. As a matter of fact, NBC contacted me as the Olympics golf
czar.
Well, not a czar.
No, it's a bit much.
Reporter.
There you go.
I'm the keynote reporter. It's Hideki Matsuyama that leads the way in Paris after round 1. They are going to play 4 rounds, just like a major or just like a regular PGA tournament. He went 8 under. Xander Schauffele, the American, right on his heels, 6 under.
And we know in my house it is a house divided between BTJ, Big Time Japanese, and me. And I will say in this instant, pulling from my man Hideki. Yeah, I love me some Hideki Matsuyama.
There's no cut. Tom Kim, another American, is lurking 5 under. Scotty Scheffler had a pretty good round. He's 4 under, tied for 6th.
Number 4.
The White Sox losing streak is at 17. Luckily, they are idle tonight. The longest losing streak in Major League Baseball history is 23, set by the 1961 Phillies. This season's Phillies are not playing well. They are just 3-8 since the All-Star break. They will be in Seattle for the first of 3 beginning tomorrow. The Mariners and Astros are still tied atop the AL West.
And we have a little White Sox stat at some point that we have to throw out there.
Yeah.
Their ineptitude is unbelievable.
Yeah, and it kind of snuck up, too.
Yes.
I mean, they've been bad all year, but they've decided to be really bad now.
They're going all in.
Number 3.
American Simone Biles wins gold in the all-around in Paris. Also, U.S. teammate Suni Lee took the bronze. So Biles is now the only U.S. gymnast to win 6 Olympic golds.
She is the all-time, no one has more medals in gymnastics than her. She is officially, she always has been for the last bit, but it's like the Brady thing. She has distanced herself. She is the GOAT.
In other Olympics news, the United States took gold in the men's 4 rowing. First time we've done that since 1960. And first ever gold for American swimmer Kate Douglas, 200-meter breaststroke.
I can't say I've ever heard of her.
That?
Outside of Ledecky, who, again, GOAT status. That's the story of the Olympics. Every time I turn around, she's winning another medal.
Yeah, she got her 13th medal today.
She is the all-time female swimmer now.
I think she's the most decorated female Olympian, period.
She's officially capped that off. She's amazing.
Number two.
And the rest is football news. We've got the richest offensive line contract in NFL history being handed out today. Bucks extended Tristan Wirfs 5 years, $141 million.
Boutros. Got it.
$88 million guaranteed.
You saw a couple of line contracts come before this, and the idea was people wanted to get their contracts in under Wirfs because they knew that this was going to be this was going to set the table. This was going to be the record.
Why didn't they wait then? Maybe they would get more.
They wanted the teams wanted to get it done.
Oh, the teams, yeah.
Teams were like, yeah, let's get something done because people knew this one was coming and this was going to be a record breaker.
Well, Davis Mills is at it again. We've got the Hall of Fame game tonight.
He's out there slinging that wood, man.
He is 10 of 13 with a tutty and 102 yards as the Texans are dominating the Bears 10-0 in Canton.
And former Oregon State Beaver, Tegan, I think, is it Quitoriano?
Quitoriano, yeah.
Yeah, he caught the touchdown pass from Mills. So
let's go.
Go Beavs.
Come too far together to stop now. Let's do it.
That's it, baby. Shut it from the rooftops.
America's #1 fighting force.
Number one.
My #1 fan.
Number one.
And number one is that Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert is going to spend the next 2 weeks in a walking boot. He's been diagnosed with plantar fascia in his right foot.
So if you don't know that, some people think that's turf toe. It is not. This is in the heel. It's the tendon and the muscle between your heel and the toes becomes inflamed, so that it ends up being like a heel problem, and it's just something that he's going to have to deal with for the rest of the year. Unfortunately, it kind of comes and goes and flare up. So, I mean, he'll be fine by week 1, but it is something to keep an eye on. It probably will be a factor most of the year.
The doctors are saying that if he rests his footsie enough, now he will be ready for week 1. They play Raiders. The quarterback number 2 in Los Angeles, in case you're wondering, do you know?
It's Easton Stick, is it not?
Easton Stick.
Get excited.
Should have been a baseball player.
Easton Stick action.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is a little weird.
Why is he not a baseball player?
Or a hockey player.
Both?
Because Stick
Does Easton make the...
Yeah, Easton makes sticks. Because they would, if he was Easton Bat, Easton Stick would be a hockey player.
Yeah, but he's a stick. Maybe golf.
Maybe golf. Easton doesn't make golf clubs, but they do.
They would for him.
They do make hockey sticks.
Victor Rico's Mexican Food brings you the Hot 5 at 5. It's the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. All right, we're going to have to push Jed Fish talk and audio to tomorrow. Good thing we have another show tomorrow.
Yes.
But up next, we'll wrap up this hour before we get to the club with a little White Sox talk. Who knew the White Sox would be a topic?
Yeah.
But they are.
When you're this bad, you either, when you're bad, we ignore you, but when you're this bad, you actually get talked about.
So we'll get to that next, and then the club on the Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report.
All right, coming up next in the club, you can power rank the 911 call scumbags.
All right.
I have 3 of them.
I'm excited.
But first, we were teasing this earlier. Who are the new A's? I was reading that the Tampa Bay Rays, one of the reasons that they sold off half of their good players at the trade deadline was, I guess the study is that that Rays owner, he was trying to sell the team.
Yeah.
He had a deal in place to sell the team, and that fell through.
He wanted out.
And so now, since that fell through, he is saying, dump everyone. I don't want to spend a dime.
I'm not paying it. He's going to be the new Fisher. He's going to be the new John Fisher of the A's. He's like, look, I'll just bare bones, make as much money as I can. Screw this. He's going major league.
And I'm not sure about any of this in terms of it's just scuttlebutt, you know, but it's the idea that he wanted to move the Rays to Montreal.
Yep.
And he's been trying to do that for a long time, and they've since come out and
got a stadium.
Got a new stadium, and it's going to be in St. Pete
Which is
again.
where he didn't want
and
it.
that's where he doesn't want it because that's where they already are now. They have been. They're not that good this year, but they have been a good team, and nobody's going to those games.
No.
So he's saying, forget it.
Yep, I'm out.
And so they could very easily be the new A's.
Yes.
Or
it
could be the White Sox.
But 17 straight losses.
Yep.
Right? And I saw a thing today that if you doubled the runs in every White Sox game this year, not the opponent's runs, the White Sox runs, you doubled their score, they would be a 500 baseball team.
Oh, dear.
They would be that's how bad they are.
So what is their run differential then? Let me look that up.
I'd have to look it up. But it can't be good considering the fact that you could double their score and they would still be barely 500.
Are you ready for this? This is a ridiculous number.
Oh, my God. I
The
just saw it.
The second worst run differential in baseball is minus 175 by the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
The White Sox are minus 229.
I
can beat that, though.
They would not be in the playoffs if you doubled their run total.
Well, they'd be 500. They wouldn't even be.
No, they wouldn't be a playoff team. That's how bad they are.
I can one up that. I was looking at this today because the White Sox, they actually won 93 games 2 years ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
No, they were a good young up and coming team. They had some young players, and Dylan Cease and some of these guys. They've since had some injuries, traded off some dudes. They are 27-84. They are on pace for a record of 39-123.
Not good.
That is a winning percentage of 24.3%.
That is not what Jerry Dipoto is looking for with 54%.
So that, of course, led me down the rabbit hole of who is the worst team ever.
Sure.
And the futility champion is the 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
That doesn't count.
Well, they went 20-134. That's a 130 winning percentage. 130.
It doesn't count.
And the story
it was the olden days.
The story is their owner also had the St. Louis Perfectos.
Oh, great name, by the way.
And he thought that, well, it was the old Browns, but they changed it to the Perfectos.
I would buy a St. Louis Perfectos jersey. That's fantastic.
He thought if they sold more tickets, if the team was better in St. Louis, they would sell more tickets there than the in Cleveland with the Spiders.
So they tanked?
So he transferred all his good players to St. Louis.
God, I love that.
So Cleveland had no good players. They were so bad. Do you want to know what their run differential was?
What?
That's why I said I could top the.
Yeah.
So White Sox are at minus 229.
Yeah.
Their run differential that season, again, they played 154 games, was minus 723 runs.
Good Lord.
Right in the butt. It said, I was looking at just on their Wikipedia page, it said that opposing team, they were so bad that opposing teams refused to travel to Cleveland to play them, so most of their games were road games.
Oh, no.
Teams were just like, no, we're not coming there. You suck.
I just love the idea of, like, Jerry Jones buying another NFL team, and obviously this is why you can't have this. And then Jerry Jones trading.
You're going across the hall.
It'd be amazing. I love when sports, like back in the day, it was just Thunderdome. There was no rules. There was no anything. You do whatever the hell you want.
Yes, I think this was the rule, or this was
probably
the
what
situation
led to you can't own two
yes,
teams.
Exactly. All right, we got to go. Hey, guess what? This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, we're hustling.
We're about to sprint to the studio.
We're making our way back
for the club.
Yeah,
because there's a bunch of hots in there.
Pretty much.
No, everything's done here.
Hot chicks room.
So we're going back to the studio. So we'll be in there for the club. Yes, you will power rank the 911 call scumbags. That is next on the Fan. Before I go, though, I want to tell you about Window Nation's new deal.
like awkward situations.
Very odd.
I had a 10-year-old boy ask to take. He said he wanted me to take my shirt off. I didn't know
why.
I was at a pool party. The BTJ
with 10-year-olds.
Yeah, well, the BTJ
pervert.
Yes.
She's got like a family group. She calls it like they do family dinners. It's basically just a bunch of Asians that get together and like celebrate being Asian, like Asian diversity. And then like for like profiling purposes, like a white guy gets to show up, and it was at someone's house that had a pool, and so there was a bunch of kids that I didn't know who they belonged to, and there was a very thin 10-year-old-ish, 10, 11-year-old boy wearing Daisy Duke cutoffs, and I mean Daisy Duke cutoffs. You could see the pockets below where the shorts ended.
Is that a thing now with the kids?
I don't know.
Order says it is.
They were very tight.
Really?
They were very small, and he was doing a lot of frolicking in the water.
Yeah.
And I know
I bet you like that.
I know it was innocent. Probably.
You like that?
I know it was probably just the tattoo because I was wearing trunks and a tank top. So I was assuming it was probably just for tattoos, but I had not spoken a word to this child. Don't know who he was. Still don't know who he is. And as I was walking over from getting something to drink or something to eat, he says, looks right at me, and this is the entire conversation. Nothing has been omitted, nothing has been added. He says, "Are you going to go swimming?" And I went, "Oh, it wasn't that hot. If you remember on that Sunday, it wasn't very warm out." And I said, "Well, maybe if it gets hotter," because it was overcast. It wasn't a very nice day. And so I said, maybe if it gets overcast, or I said, maybe if like the clouds clear, if it gets warmer, maybe I will. And he looks right at me and goes, "I want you to take your shirt off." And I didn't have an answer for that question. Have you ever had a small child in Daisy Duke cutoffs ask you to take your shirt off?
Also, didn't sound like a question. Sounded like a demand.
It did. It was not a, will you take your shirt off? He just said, "I want you to take your shirt off." And I didn't have a good response. So I waited like a second or two as I was like, and then I just walked away. I never responded to him. I just walked. I just turned and I just kept going about my business.
Why didn't you give the kid what he wanted?
You can't. There's. It was like
I
froze. No, you can't.
Look, there's a lot of do's and don'ts at a kid pool party.
That's number one. If a small boy in Daisy Duke says, I want you to take your shirt off, the answer is don't answer. And you certainly don't. And guess what? That shirt stayed on the entire time. I never went in the pool. It didn't happen.
So we don't know. You didn't follow up with why do you want to see?
No. I wouldn't do little kids because that's, I don't know. No.
That drop is awful.
It's awful. It's terrible.
I don't like
especially in this context. And again.
And he already had his shirt off.
And Daisy Duke's on. And he was he was twerking and dancing.
Yeah, look, this is a hot scene.
There was a lot going on. And believe me, I had already been like,
wow.
Why is that kid over there twerking? He was full on twerking. It was already a little weird. And then that happened. No. And again, I'm sure it's just a matter of he wanted to see the tattoos. And it didn't matter. It was top 5 awkward situations I've been in. It's right up there.
Sounds like an opportunity to me. Wait, strike that from the record.
Exactly.
We can't even joke about this.
No.
Feel right about it.
Well, I'm dead serious. What would you have done in that situation?
Well, I would have asked why. I'm
you
sorry.
You would have asked why?
Yes, absolutely.
What if the answer is an answer you don't want?
Well, I want the answer. I'm too curious.
Think you do.
I am. I am a why guy. I will always ask why, and my curiosity would have killed me. I would have been like, what? Why? You little S-head? How about this? I'll take mine off. You put yours on.
And some longer shorts.
Yeah. Where's your mom? You can take your Halloween and shove it up your little kid ass.
I'm just here to tell you, there is not a handbook. There is not any online tutorial that prepares you for when you're at a barbecue pool function and something like that goes down. The whole day, it just throws you off. At that point, you just go sit in the corner and keep your tank top on.
Any part of you go, maybe I should?
No.
Gear down for the kids?
Nope. Nope. Is it
Are
one?
you kidding me?
Because again, it never really got
Maybe
hot.
it was Chris Hansen. Sounded hot to me.
It feels like there was some sort of sting happening there because there was like a pool house. I thought, like, are there cops waiting to spring out?
Entrapment.
Exactly. So at one point, because like only the kids were really swimming, there weren't a lot of adults swimming because again, it wasn't that hot, and kids don't care.
Well,
kids will swim no matter what.
That's another rule. You know, you could do a whole segment on, you know, unwritten or unspoken rules when you're at a kid's pool party.
Yeah.
One of them is don't swim with the kids unless they're your own kids and you're throwing them around the pool, right? Like, you can't throw around someone else's kids, can you?
Well,
I don't think you can do that.
Know the kids.
Well, maybe if you know them, but I'm saying, like, this kid, you didn't know this kid.
Yeah.
What if he said, hey, throw me?
No.
Take off your shirt and throw me.
Yeah. Because that's my thing. Let's say I
Can't do that.
Let's say I do take off the shirt. Just again, guessing he wanted to see all of the tattoos, and now I find myself in the pool. Now I'm in the pool with a strange kid that I don't know wearing Daisy Dukes who asked me to take my shirt off. Now I'm in the pool. I think that's a crime.
You know what's next? He says, take off your shorts and dunk me.
I think I can go to jail for that at that point. So
yeah, you got to be careful.
The BTJ was hanging out. The pool had like a built-in hot tub to it. You know, like one corner of the pool. It was like a hot tub pool combo. And so a lot of the adults were hanging out in the pool, and I went and put
in the hot tub.
Oh yeah, in the hot tub. They were sitting in the hot tub while the little kids played in the pool. So I went and stuck my feetsies.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, so I stuck my feetsies in the hot tub, and at some point the BTJ was like, "Are you gonna get in?" And I was like, "Nope." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "You know why?" And she was like, "Oh yeah," because I was like, I told her, and she was like, "Ew." And she was like, he just wanted to see her tattoos. And I said, I'm sure that's what it was, but I'm still not getting in that pool.
What if he
and
had
I'm not taking that tank top
Well,
off.
what if he had said, can I see your tats? What if he had said that instead of take your shirt off?
I still think the answer is no. You can't take your shirt off if a kid asks you to take your shirt off. You can't do that.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Probably not.
You can't.
But what if a kid asked you to see your tattoos?
I would roll up. Well, I wasn't wearing sleeves. If I was wearing short sleeves, because mine hang out the bottom of my sleeves, I would have rolled up, and I'll do that with anyone. If someone ever says, I want to see your tattoos, which does happen, I will roll up the sleeves. I will not take off my shirt for someone that says, let me see your tattoos, let alone like a 10-year-old boy, a shirtless, wet, Daisy Duke 10-year-old boy who has been twerking at the party.
But didn't you... I mean, I don't know. I have moles, and they told me that you pulled down the back of your pants and showed him your tramp stamp. You didn't do that?
No.
You didn't. Oh, I'm not taking off my shirt, but check this out.
Here's this.
Gross. Buck's disgusted over there.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah, I'm busy working on drops of you idiots.
I didn't know what to do.
You piece of garbage.
All right, we got to go.
I stand by my decision to walk away. I think we're on time.
Are we on
Yeah,
time?
you're right on time. It is about time for a break.
Didn't we used to have a clock in here?
It's on your computer if you logged in.
Oh, there it is. 96 degrees out there.
Yeah, it's warm. It's muggy. Now we need a pool party. That day, no pool party.
Power rank the 911 call scumbags. Next on The Fan.
A home for the Beavs and Cougs?
For Oregon State and Washington State looking for some sort of lifeline.
I thought it was good and well placed, and I'm glad Buck did too. You know. Take off your shirt and throw me.
It is weird roughhousing with kids that aren't your own.
Well, I don't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
so
especially you're talking about like 10-year-olds? No.
Yeah.
Maybe little tiny ones.
Little kids. But there's that group, the family group. All of them, like all my kids are old and grown, but all of their kids are young. So I will say that they have a lot of little kids that do the throw me around thing a lot, and it's it can be a bit awkward at times. Because then you never know, like if you hurt a kid or it's just
touch them inappropriately.
It's weird. It's weird.
But on purpose, right, Sook?
And one of them calls me Big Uncle, which is, again,
gross.
Kind of strange. And they,
Look, this is why I stay away from kids.
Big Uncle Sook.
No, they just call me Big Uncle. I'm like, how about
adults only?
How about just Jay? How about we go there? Or Uncle? Because then you get into Big Uncle, and, Uncle can have a bad connotation. Is there a word that can go sideways faster than Uncle? Because there are a lot of creepy uncles out there. And
why do uncles have such a bad rap?
Because there's a lot of bad ones.
I am an uncle, but
yeah.
Well, there's just a lot of bad dudes. Like,
yes.
Why is it uncles that are? Why is it always uncles?
Well, I think the idea is sometimes the uncle is the single non-fathered that it kind of has to be around because it's by blood, but no one wants him around. So you get the drunk uncle, you get the creepy uncle. It's.
Yeah, but you have drunk dads and creepy dads. Like, dads get away with... Like, dads are like, oh, heroes. Every dad is great. Yeah. Every uncle is terrible. That's dumb. Because they're all just dumb men. Some good dads, some bad. Some good uncles, some bad.
Yeah, someone's saying right here, Big Uncle Touchy. Exactly. You start out as Big Uncle. Next thing you know, you're Big Uncle Touchy.
Why don't they do Big Daddy Touchy?
Yeah,
they don't. They never do that.
The uncle,
everybody just assumes the dad's great.
The uncle does get hit with a lot of,
and they assume the uncle's drunk.
A lot of strays. Well, I mean, sometimes the uncle is drunk.
Yeah, I do that with my nieces.
Yeah.
They sent me a birthday card.
Yeah.
They're what, 9 and 7, 10 and 8, and one of them said, "You're so fun. I thought, sometimes I forget that you're actually not a kid." She said that.
Oh.
And I was like. Oh,
well, that's.
I kind of felt like, is that? Am I the creepy uncle? Like
Are you the funkle though? Are you the
fun?
I'm fun. You're the fun. You're the funkle.
Yeah.
The fun uncle.
Yeah, because, I mean, Dad's always cranky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see him that often. So when I do see him, I try to, have a good time.
Yeah. Well, I got this one too, in that. So like my, the step side of the family, I have step brothers and sisters who are all very nice people, and we don't really get to do much anymore. I don't really come to any family functions, but like when we used to go camping down to the beach, they're all very Mormon, and I was the only one that was not. So I would often, I would get explained to, and again, their kids were all very young, so there would always be awkward explanations.
I'm sorry.
So I remember like at one time, it would be like the 4th of July, and I overheard them explaining to the children that was Uncle's cooler, and that the Uncle's cooler was not to be touched.
Yeah.
Or having explained away why Uncle has a cigar, or why, and it was always like,
yeah, Uncle's different, honey. That is so lame.
It was always
it's so lame.
It's just. Like, can
Tell
the
them
kids
they can
not
bite me.
Can the kids not handle it?
Right.
I mean,
he's like, Uncle smokes cigars and drinks beer. He's actually pretty cool. You should try it. Here, kid, smoke this.
And that was kind of always my thing. Is like, I'm not gonna be like taking your kid behind the house and be like, hey, kid, try one of these.
I know. It's like, what?
Here's a Coors for you.
Okay,
like,
so you drink. Big deal.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Means that there had to be a conversation.
God. I'm starting to feel like Schultz over here. I'm offended by all of this.
Oh. I said someone had a drunkle and an Uncle Big Face. What's Uncle Big Face? Vancouver Ford text line. I get the drunkle, but I don't know what Uncle Big Face is.
Well, maybe they're just saying that was like the nickname that they got with it.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said, just always ask yourself, how would this sound if you read it out loud to a jury of your peers? Yeah, that's fair.
Well, it's a valid point.
YouTube chat says, I'm the
test.
shows up to every Christmas with a new girlfriend, Uncle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that before. I had
Well, what's wrong with that?
I showed up with a bottle of wine once to Christmas. That didn't go over well at all. It's like, really? No, it's just.
Well, but wait a minute. They don't have to drink it.
Well, it was kind
Mind
of
your own business.
It didn't go over well.
I need this bottle of wine to hang out with you.
A lot of things didn't go over well. And one of the most adorable ones, and this really did come from a good place, and I did think it was a sweetheart of a move. It was down there. We were down at the coast, and the house I was staying at, because everyone else kind of stayed together, and then, I had a house kind of usually a couple streets away. And it was, I don't know, it was maybe 2 streets over.
Heathen.
And I believe over the course of the evening, I think I had maybe 2-3 beers.
Yeah, right. That means 15.
And I did get one of these. Hey, I don't want to embarrass you or anything, but just so you know, I got you tonight. And I was like, huh? Like, what are we doing? Just want you to know, I'll drive you and anyone that needs to go home tonight. And it was like a really serious, touching moment, which I found adorable.
Who was that?
Oh, just a family member. It was one of the extended family. He pulled me aside and did the really quiet, hushed tone, like, hey, just between me and you, I just want you to know.
Don't have to make a big deal of it or anything. We'll just be between you and me.
I got you.
I got you.
And I did I did like the hand on the shoulder was like, means
thank you.
Like in my head, I'm like,
accepted wholeheartely.
I turned and was like trying not to die laughing. I was like, I got this. Thank you. Because we had to use our quiet, you got to use the quiet, serious voice, just,
Yeah, I'm drinking tonight.
Well, when when you're the outlier, it can be it can be a weird dynamic when you're the only one.
Well, it doesn't have to be. They make it weird.
That's true. But
I mean, it's not a weird thing. It's a very normal thing. They're the weird ones.
Yeah.
F that.
I like that this is the rubs. This is ridiculous.
Pissed off about that. I just hate that crap. Get out of here with your judgy bullshit. Shove it right up your ass.
They are all very nice people for the most part.
Yeah, but are they? Are they? No, they're not. They're nice to your face.
That is true.
You freaking bitch.
I just like that somewhere a conversation had to be had about Uncle's cooler.
Hey, this guy's right. Jesus turned water into wine. What further proof does one need that alcohol is okay and approved? He's
Boom!
Right.
And it is Christmas time.
So I've got 911 caller news.
Yeah, let's go.
So I've got three of them here, and I think they're all awful people. But
so not the 911 operator, the person calling.
No, the callers. Yeah.
Oh,
they're using 911.
Yeah, for
the
inappropriate
wrong reasons. So we've got. So you power rank these, okay? Who's the biggest scumbag?
All right.
One is a woman in Florida who was arrested because she placed 11,000 crude and expletive-filled calls to 911 because she wanted to harass police employees.
That's a lot of 911 calls.
Yeah, 11,000.
Over what period of time, and how did it get to 11,000? Can't you get in trouble before that? When I was a kid, I used to call 911 when I was like 4 because I thought it was fun, and the police showed up at my house. That didn't go over so well. I learned a lesson that day.
They don't mess around. Yeah, Carla Jefferson, she's been arrested twice for nonstop harassing phone calls.
Huh. 11? How long? I just can't get over 11,000 calls. I don't know if I've made 11,000 calls in my life.
She's committed. Yeah, they're saying that it's actually 12,512.
Oh, my God.
Accounting for about 10% of all the calls coming into the department's non-emergency number.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was the non-emergency number
Yeah,
of these, right?
it was non-emergency.
So she would just call up and then just curse at people?
Yeah, she doesn't have any service needs. She just harasses and cusses them out and degrades them.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's her there.
What? Well, she is a scumbag at the same time. I'm kind of impressed at the
commitment.
The commitment.
Committed to the bit.
Yeah, that's I kind of want to hear her do this, or at least see like the joy she takes from it. Her mugshot. She looks very happy.
Yeah, she's got issues.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. So that woman was in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
This one is in Texas. She calls 911 to report her car got stolen, which was true.
Okay.
But she says there was a child inside, which was not true. She does not have a child. She just wanted them to find the car faster.
Ooh. Wow. Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Put my issue at the top of the list with something fake and serious.
Gosh, well, hey, to be fair, they're not looking for her car.
No, they're looking for the kid.
It's a quality tactic.
It is a quality tactic.
But that's like going to the ER and saying, I have chest pains, and then you get seen immediately. Like,
look, that's not a bad tactic either.
Look,
it's putting other people behind you for no reason.
We may have done that before with my mom.
Did you? Well, sometimes, yeah. It's all what you say.
Yes.
To get you through.
I was told by a medical professional, my mom was in some trouble. We needed to get her seen, and this was like COVID, and it was tough. And we were told maybe if we just say certain things, we can
Couple
get
phrases
in.
will do it.
That's right.
Do not say that your child has been kidnapped when they have not been. But maybe that was a really cool car. Maybe it was like a PT Cruiser with wood paneling, and she needed to get that car back. Maybe she had a bunch of weed in the car. I don't know. But that is did she even have kids?
No.
Oh.
She didn't even exist. The kid. Stupid kid.
Did they find the car?
Yes.
By the way, that goes to the list. While I appreciate it, I think all of these I'm going to appreciate in some way. That's near the top for the scumbag move.
You think that's worse than the 12,000 calls?
100%. Like, it's one thing to call and just yell at people. It's a whole other thing to have cops seriously, like an Amber Alert and panicking.
Drop everything they're doing
to look for. And by the way,
Amber Alert.
From the look of her mugshot,
that's her there.
She doesn't have a nice car.
No.
That's a piece of crap car. That's a 1992 Toyota
She just had nothing better to do that day than light a fire under their ass.
Yeah.
She looks evil.
Yeah,
she looks like her head's about to spin around.
A little bit.
Doesn't it?
I bet she's fun.
What's her name? I need to Google
her name is Stacy Deshay Marie Smith.
Yeah.
She's from El Paso.
Yeah.
She's a 19-year-old Texas woman arrested, allegedly inventing a fictitious child to get police to search for her friend's car that was stolen.
Not even her car. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's near the top. That's
number one.
That's number one.
Oh, she looks scary.
Yeah.
Doesn't she though? She looks like a witch.
Yeah, it looks like she practices Wiccan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, right up Sook's alley.
Right there with the Mountain Dew
She
poisoner.
hangs out at Hey Love.
Oh no, that's a Kelly's girl right there. That's 100%.
Okay, then the third one is she's from South Carolina. She's a fast food manager. She files a false report claiming to have been robbed of the store's bank deposits.
Okay.
She just stole the bank deposits.
Oh. Well.
So what do you think about that?
Well, again, we have cameras, people. Like, everything's on film now. All right, here's my scumbag ranking. She's just dumb. Scumbag ranking, the kidnapped kid, number one. I'm going with the cursing lady, and then this lady isn't a scumbag. She's just a dumbass.
Yeah, there she is. If you see her.
Gosh, why do they all just have the?
She looks like an Arby's fast food manager.
Yeah.
It was an Arby's.
That makes sense. I love that she thought she was going to get away with it.
She says, "We've been robbed. We've been robbed." And she had the bags in her car.
In the car.
Yeah.
I love too that you realize the first thing that the cops are going to do is they're going to come in and be like, okay, let's look at the security footage. Oh, here's the lady taking them. Here's the lady taking them out to the car. I want to believe that whatever sergeant was out there was like, this dumb bitch better not have him in the car. She better have hit him. And then she looks in the back. The guy looks in the backseat of the car and is like, you.
There they are. She is an aloof bitch. $3,800 in cash. And they reviewed the videotape and they were like, you weren't robbed. So, all right. So you're going.
That's my. I'm definitive. I'm definitive about it.
Fake child 1.
Yeah.
12,000 calls.
Yes.
2.
Yeah. The other one's just she's
Arby's lady.
She's just dumb and
3.
She's slow. There may be something's going on in there, and I'm gonna go 8th grade maybe, 9th.
What?
Yeah. There's no GED there.
Oh.
Education.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about their age.
wait,
I'm like, how does that work?
No. I'm guessing at some point the parachute got pulled in the schooling. And in South Carolina, she's probably from the same neighborhood of that idiot that blew his head off with the mortar.
Yeah, someone invited her to smoke cigarettes by the tracks, and she never went back to class.
Yeah, very, very, very similar.
Now here's someone who says, I work in the ER. People call us every day just to harass us and yell at us and swear at us. Happens all the time.
Are you kidding me?
That's weird.
Call any other entity than the people, like the police and the hospitals. Jesus.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I think it's weird that, can you get through to the ER? Like, don't they have a call center?
I don't know.
Like, you can't just...
I've never tried to call the ER.
Well, like, if some nurse is, like, running around with, like, a chicken with his head cut off or her head cut off in the ER, she's not stopping, hello,
but there's
St. Vincent's
You
Hospital.
usually have someone working the desk, though.
Well, that's
and-
what I mean.
triage
So
person.
how does this person who works in the ER even answer the phone?
Well, it's probably just either they hear every day from someone that's calling, or something along those lines. I'm sure the word gets passed around the ER, or maybe they are the person that has to answer the phone. I don't know. Like if I called the hospital and they like, hey, which department? Can I say ER?
Yeah, they would put you through. Like, there's someone that's manning a phone there that's saying, oh, like, I'm trying to check in on so-and-so, and they're like, let me see if I can find them for you. There's someone whose job that is.
I've never even thought about yelling at someone in the ER, but, I like to yell at, I do yell at one particular cop a lot, but that's my buddy, but I do say horrible things to him, but they're out of love. But that's more of a personal cell phone sort of thing.
I tell you what, those ER, the people that work in the ER, they're angels.
Yes.
They're absolute angels.
Yes.
The crap that they have to put up with, you wouldn't believe it. No. My kid is ER adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nurse at OHSU, and he's so what's the? It's like ED observation deck. So it's people who come to the ER and then have to be observed before they figure out where they're going to put them.
Sure.
And he's in that unit.
Yeah.
And he even from that unit tells horror stories. These people are, and my brother's a ER nurse as well. Yeah. They tell horror stories of how they're treated. It's just sickening.
Yeah. It's bad.
Look at that. You seen that on YouTube?
Look at that
bitch.
right there.
Look at that.
Look at that thing going right up.
Hell yeah. So we're back in studio. We were at PDXYZ earlier doing the show.
The size of that thing.
Yeah, there's a big giant banner of me because, well, hello.
Why wouldn't there?
And so it's now being brought in here by Tara, and she's going to hang it up.
Yeah, that thing's
in
going
the
up.
studio.
That thing's going up in the studio.
Yeah. Hopefully it will.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Could you leave it alone, please?
Oh, well, I will, but other people will not. Well, already, look, that there's already some bitter feelings and resentment towards the Asahi brand. And this is only going to further it. I'm guessing that this is going
I'm asking everyone to be an adult.
This is going to be a hard one, right?
That will not be heard.
Yeah. Dern and Sprague are going to take this
True
personally,
story.
which I'm kind of excited about.
Well, I didn't see a banner of them.
Exactly.
Wait till I make one and deface it. All right. I think that's how I'd rank them, too. Isachi.
Yeah.
Those three.
Yeah. Someone say you need to do a public service and start taking calls again. This is why we don't take calls.
No, we don't.
Yeah, sometimes you just, calls aren't good for anybody. No one wins with that.
Have you noticed how few shows take calls now?
Yeah, it's kind of just died.
I'd like to take credit for some of that.
You were ahead of the curve.
We were.
Yes.
We did this years ago.
Years
You're like,
and
callers
years.
suck.
Whoever came up with the idea of a text line, though, was really good because then it allows
Yeah.
you to filter you can read the best comments and you can leave out the terrible ones.
Well, there was a dead zone period between like emails and text line.
I remember when we started, we had the office automation fax line.
Pacific
automation, yeah.
The fax line.
Then we had an email
people
thing for
could
a while.
fax you their ideas and thoughts?
Eli,
Wow.
Ian Furness got one day, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Somebody faxed in their take.
Yeah. And then we had the email. We had the Weiner line for a while.
Email was big. I remember when Colin was here, he would always he got a lot of emails and would read them. And then text line was years later. But yes, all the caller wants to do is hear themselves on the radio.
Yes.
And it's rarely enhancing to the program.
No. And yet, hey, man, Paul Feinbaum makes a gajillion a year off of doing that.
That's different. And Jim Rome, too.
Yep.
I mean, look, if that's your bit,
that is
you
a
can
bit.
do it well. But come on, man. We're just throwing some guy from Estacada on the line? No, thanks. I don't care what he thinks.
I do love, one of my favorite things is if you're driving back from a Mariner game or whatever, and you happen to, because maybe you were listening to the game on the way up or whatever, the pregame, and I love the post-game call.
Yes.
From Sue Sue in Bellingham. Those are some of the best.
Well, I really enjoy the show.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Some of those are the best things in radio history.
When Bill and Renton would like to change trade Josh Rojas for I don't know, Pete Alonso, and you're like, oh, great idea, Bill and Renton, but that's not the way this works.
Yeah, you'll be talking about something very specific, and you go, Bill and Renton, you're on the air. Hello?
Oh, hey.
Am I in the air?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
turn
hey,
your radio down.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Pause, long wait.
Hello? Am
Did
I
you
on?
call to ask us how we were doing?
How you guys doing? Hey, love the show, guys. Love the show. You guys are great. Hey, so back in 1970, shoot me! God, the worst.
It's phenomenal. I love it. And
And that's how it went.
And the older the person, and especially if it's an old grandma, I just can't get enough. Just inject, and you can hear the caller, or the host, not wanting to be rude. Oh, it's great.
Are you out of your mind?
Did I tell you about? I think I did. I told the story on the air of the time I called into the Royals postgame show
Yes,
as a kid. Yeah.
I would have loved listening to that.
Well, what you would have loved is the only thing that I remember, and that is, I remember the topic that I talked about, but I do remember the disdain in the host's voices because of this very thing. So I don't know how old I am. Early teens, maybe 11, 12, something, I don't know. But I love to listen to the Royals games. Yeah. And man, the Royals post-game show hosts and their listeners needed to hear my hot take about Shane Mack.
Yes.
I felt so strongly.
You were ready to burn up those airwaves.
Shane Mack is underrated, okay? And so I called in, and of course they were talking. I wasn't listening. I'm just really fired up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on the
Tonight's the night I get through about Shane Mack.
Yep, I'm going to get in. And I sit on hold, and I wait, and I'm like, yeah. And they take my call. And I'm like, guys, I just wanted to let you know Shane Mack's really underrated. And they're like, what? We're not even talking. Thanks. Thanks for the call. And this is why no one takes calls. Right there. I was the start of it all.
Did it break your heart?
Yes, I couldn't understand it. I'm like, well, but he is underrated. Why didn't they comment on it?
What are you talking about?
Well, they don't want to talk about that. They're talking. I don't know what they're talking about.
Then why take the calls? And that's your point.
Exactly. That's my point.
I've never called in, but I was driving with my buddy years ago, who is a big. He's a big liberal, like super duper liberal.
Snowflake.
And he would hate listen to Lars Larson. And I never understood it. I was like, dude, you drive yourself crazy with this. But he would listen to Lars Larson, and Lars used to do I don't remember what day it was, but Lars would do dissenters go to the front.
Yeah, he does that sometimes. Yeah, I've heard him. He'll put people that disagree with him on there.
Yeah. So we're driving, and he's gonna call Lars Larson.
He never lets him talk, but he puts him on there.
But he was gonna call Lars, and he was all worked up. It was I think it was something about guns or something. I don't even remember.
No way.
And he was just gonna rip Lars a new one, and Lars just
torched him.
Torched him. And it got so bad, my buddy, he started stammering, he couldn't.
Yeah.
He just was losing it, and he was like, and so he just hung up, and then Lars made fun of him for hanging up, and oh my God, I thought I was gonna pee my pants, and my buddy was just pissed.
Shut up.
It was.
It's kind of on him, though, right?
Watching someone flame out.
You got to handle it.
After 10 minutes of seething anger, and you're like, I'm going to teach this blowhard a lesson.
No, you're not.
No,
He's a pro, man. Not everybody can go toe-to-toe with Lars Larson, and particularly not you.
Someone in the YouTube chat says, I'll never forget calling into the fan in 2006 for the mock draft and selecting Chad Greenway.
That's
Hell
right.
yeah. Chad Greenway.
Ooh,
well,
boy.
We don't take calls.
No.
A little bit of a tangent there.
Saying Schultze produced Lars Larson?
Yeah.
Boy, we got to talk about that sometime.
Yeah, he's talked about it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I've got some Lars stories.
Yeah,
I can't.
Lars tried to sign me an autograph once.
Yeah.
He took out a headshot. He was going to sign it for me when I said hi.
Yeah, dude.
We were at an outdoorsman show.
All right, we got to go. Are we on SportsCenter? Are we on SportsCenter?
Yeah,
we are on SportsCenter.
All right, let's go to Buck with SportsCenter.
Now.
Good.
I looked up Shane Mack.
300 career 300 hitter.
Yeah. He only played with the Royals for 1 year.
Yeah, and did you see the year? That was 1998.
How old were you?
23. I thought I was like 12.
You remembered as if you got taken to school as a little teen.
Yes.
A little tween.
Hey, to be fair, he hit 280.
Yeah, he was good.
280 with.
By the way, a Twins fan agrees with me. A Twins fan texted in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I agree. Shane Mack underrated.
Yeah.
He hit 315 for them.
Boy, I would
He was
not,
good.
Yeah, Shane Mack better than you think. I love random baseball players. Shane Mack. You're like, oh, I remember Shane Mack. Robbie Thompson, if you will.
Robbie Thompson was a Giant.
I remember I liked the Giants. Before Buck and Dirt, I had nothing against the Giants. Growing up, Will Clark, Robbie Thompson.
They were a gritty squad before Barry Bonds got there. They had Rod Beck, big shooter.
Yeah. Then they became a bunch of bitches.
Isn't Rod Beck dead?
I think Rod Beck is dead. Drugs or cancer?
I think he just lived really hard. I think he smoked. I think he drank a lot.
Shooter. They called him Shooter. He was the one that lived out behind the stadium in a van or something.
He lived in. I think he lived at like an RV park in the off season, like it was just his chosen thing. But I think he'd go to spring training and he'd either bring his RV and he'd just like live behind the stadium. I don't think it was in San Francisco, but
it said that they did not publicly disclose his cause of death, but Phoenix police say they did not suspect foul play.
Yeah.
He had a history of substance abuse, went into drug rehab only months before his career ended. And Bruce Bochy said, "We tried everything we could to help him."
Beck's ex-wife stated she believed his death to be drug-related. Cocaine and heroin were found in his bedroom.
There you go.
So, there you go.
Damn, bro.
That was a hard life. I'll bet you that guy had a good time. Too good of a time. Can't do that.
All right, we got to wrap it up. I see Andrew Nemec out there. He's getting ready to come in and do a show.
Let's go.
Here on the show. Or on the fan. He's coming up. I don't know. We'll wrap it up next on the fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
I love created, and that you weren't 11 years old. You were 23.
Isn't that funny how you remember
great.
things?
Oh yeah.
23.
Well, I told you one of the best books I ever read was a book on memories, and how your memory is one of the least reliable things in the world.
It's the Matt Lauer bit.
Yeah. Or it wasn't Matt Lauer, it was Brian Williams.
Or Brian Williams, yeah. Shot down in a Black Hawk or something, or shot at.
He's shot at. Isn't it crazy to think that, and some people say that this could be up to like 75 to 85% of your memories are not close to what happened. That as time goes on, you don't remember what happened, you just remember your memory of what happened. And that's everybody. Which is why, like, history books, like, you know, especially like ancient history, you always got to take everything with a little, you know, it's a little like, you know, the winners got to write the history, but of course, a lot of people love what's written down in old books, and nothing's going to change me. Maybe not the best way.
Tomorrow we'll have Joey Harrington on the air, I think.
Yeah, he was mad at you.
We think.
We think.
Well, see if I my trip to Pebble actually one-ups him. I'm guessing it won't.
See if he's been to Pebble.
And you know what? I dropped the ball in that last week, or maybe Suk and I both did, but you gave us strict orders to ask what the figure was that he invested in the Thorns.
Yeah.
And we did not get to that, so we're going to have to ask him
we'll
that.
ask him.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we know he's not going to tell us, but we still have to ask.
He said it was a very, very small amount.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, he was not.
Well, but it wasn't $10 either.
What does that mean?
It wasn't $10. He just said it was not a major investment.
20 G's? 50 G's?
I don't know.
700
He
G's?
just said it was a drop in the bucket for
What's
those
small
guys.
for that guy?
Couldn't tell you. Good luck getting it out of him, though.
Well, as a journalist, it's my duty to try.
See what you can do. Like when you asked Carrie Walsh how much she made. Didn't go over so well.
No, she was a bitch. Look, I get it. You don't have to.
Bitch.
You don't have to answer the question, but you have to be so offended.
Bitch.
She sucks.
Olympic gold medalist.
Freaking punch it,
And
bitch.
bronze. 1 gold, 1 bronze.
How old is she now?
Oh, gosh.
You think she still thinks about me?
She's 45.
I bet she does.
I'm guessing not, but you never know.
Isn't she married to someone famous?
No, that was Misty May Trainer, wasn't it?
Who's she married to?
She was married to a baseball player, Matt Trainer.
Who's Carrie Walsh's husband?
I don't know.
Someone Jennings,
Casey
because she's
Jennings.
Carrie Walsh Jennings.
He's a pro beach volleyball player as well.
All right, Andrew Nemec coming up next. We're back tomorrow. 3 to 7 on Bacon Night.